Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, friends and foes, lurkers and regulars, GMO people. Are we ready for more GMO people out there? Because I hear they're working on some new GMO stuff to GMO people with. Welcome. Well, and of course, organic people. I don't know if I said that, but welcome to the Boiler Room. I'm your host, Mike Call Signs Hesher. I'm Brian McLean, broadcasting live out of Central Texas. Thank you for joining us tonight. Out there on YouTube, Rumble, Rockfin, and X. Wonderful to have you here with us for this live broadcast. It is January the 23rd. We are, 3 days into the new administration here. And I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but there's a palpable change in reporting out there in the media. All very weird, from very mainstream stuff like Saturday Night Live all the way to Fox, CNN, all that stuff. Some good, some bad, and some ugly, that's for sure. One of the uglies we like to watch out for here in the Boiler Room is technocracy and technocratic abuse. So that's one of the things we've had our eyes on. So much going on. I don't even think we're going to be able to get to all of it tonight. But yeah, I think myself and my guests have absorbed almost a near lethal dose of mass media cartel and social media cartel feeds over the last, I don't know, decade, but in particular, this last week or two has been bananas. Quite frankly, this whole 23 days since the year kicked off with an exploding Cybertruck, a vehicle attack, fires in LA, so much crazy stuff going on. Also, it's been very cold here in Texas. How's everybody doing out there? I think it's been cold in a lot of places, really cold in some places. So we had our pipes burst the other night when it was in the 20s here. So definitely feeling it. But hopefully everybody's staying warm out there. I did see a lot of notifications about power being down and all that. So all the best to everybody out there experiencing this lovely winter. Snow in Florida, snow in Houston. Really, really interesting stuff. But let's say hello to the crew tonight. We've got Adam Clark, aka Ruckus, joining us. Ruckus, what's up? And welcome to the Boiler Room. I'm not hearing you for some.
There we go. Check. Holy smokes! All right. Yes. Hi. How's it going? Yeah. Totally ready for this. I mean, yeah, we're winning over here so much. I almost forgot we were doing Boiler Room and everything. Sorry, folks. Wearing a hat and whatever. It is what it is. So let's just do the thing because got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely do. All right. Let's welcome Jamie Hanshaw. We got Jamie Hanshaw joining us. Jamie, what's up? Welcome to the Boiler Room.
Woo, what's up, guys? How are you?
Very good. Very good. Great to have you with us here. We were going to have you last week. We had all this graphics and setup, everything, but we are here tonight for an update on that one after we get it through our icebreaker here. But wonderful to have you. If you're not following Jamie, you should go to her YouTube and make sure and hit that subscribe button. Jamie Hanshaw. You can find her over on the YouTube. So I've got there we go. Got a tab I got to mute, but that's her channel over there. So get on over there and subscribe if you haven't. Always good stuff going on over there. So let's get right into it. That's not an icebreaker sound. Wow, we've just got everything all jacked up today, don't we? There it is. Okay, so Spore and I were debating which of these to start with. So I think I'm gonna just go with this one. This one is coming to us out of the New York Post. And let me put it on the screen so that you folks can see it. Smartphone usage leads to hallucinations, detachment from reality, aggression in teens as young as 13, new study says. So, smartphones are making teenagers more aggressive, detached from reality, and causing them to hallucinate, according to new research. Scientists concluded that's always a red flag right there, but we'll go with it. Scientists concluded the younger a person starts using a phone, the more likely they will be crippled by a whole host of psychological ills after surveying 10,500 teens between 13 and 17 from both the US and India for the study. Let's see here, psychologist Dr. Nicholas Cardaras, who was not part of the team but who did the study, told the Post, quote, people don't fully appreciate that hyper real and hyper immersive screen experiences can blur reality at key stages of development. So I get this is probably not coming as shocking news to anybody. Went on to say their digital world can compromise their ability to distinguish between what's real and what's not, a hallucination by any other name. Screen time essentially acts as a toxin that stunts both brain development and social development, Cardararis explained. Goes on to say the younger a kid is when given a device, the higher the likelihood of mental health issues later on. The teens surveyed for the youth mind, rising aggression and anger were significantly worse off than older Gen Zers in Sapien Labs database, and the youngest ages were more likely to suffer aggression, anger, hallucinations compared to their older counterparts. Really not very surprising news there, my friends. I think many of us have seen some of the documentaries about this, like Social Dilemma and others. And many of you parents out there have probably seen some of these effects in your kids. Hopefully not. I guess this puts a lot of onus on the parents to make these decisions and sort of manage the electronic device usage of their kids. But that's difficult for a lot of parents. And quite frankly, a lot of parents are suffering the same hallucinations from too much screen time. Uh, Too much screen time is enough to give anyone hallucinations. So you really got to be able to harden yourself against the violence and the political rhetoric and all of that. But what do you think, Jamie? What do you think about this study? Is it like a kind of a duh, of course, or red pill for people?
Well, I was just thinking today, I'm so glad I was already an adult before we started using the internet so heavily. I was already graduated high school and going to college before we learned what floppy disks were, and my grandma had the internet because she liked to play cards. So even before young people were using it, the old people were using it to connect. She liked to play poker online. And our first computer was her hand-me-down from playing poker online. And so, but I was already grown. I can't imagine. And we're bad enough from television, right?
Yeah.
And video games. So I definitely grew up with the first Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong and like Super Nintendo, Nintendo. So our brains were already primed to slip into this delusional world heavily enough. But I can't imagine being a young person with the internet and every comment and like horrible, rude thing that everybody ever thought is just there for you to read.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't remember who posted it. Maybe I'll see if I can find it so I can quote it. But somebody posted on socials today a comment. It basically was referring to Gen X, and it was saying, it's so strange. Paraphrasing, kind of putting in my own words here, but it's so strange to be the generation that is stuck right in between the generation that was completely psyoped by cable news and the generation that has TikTok brain. It really feels like Gen X was sort of that spot that you just described really well, where it was like, like for example, when I was a kid, I was into skateboarding, and I feel like the only thing I could watch on TV about it was like random skate videos that you'd find at the skateboard store on VHS, or uh, renting The Search for Animal Chin, Pal Peralta's video. But like, I spent my time on the skateboard, and now I feel like there's a lot of people. This might be a bad example, but there's a lot of people out there that are into things, young people that are into things, but all they do is watch people do them rather than go out and become proficient at it themselves. And then there's all that social commentary you were talking about, just all the negativity that gets blasted at kids. It's really difficult. I would say impossible, for those of us that grew up without the internet, to really comprehend what it's like to have, all your peers, in on everything you do, posting comments and all that stuff. I mean, shout out to the young people out there that don't use social media. They're probably the most mentally sound people that we have right now, even if it's a small percentage.
Yeah, I remember when I was a child, like roller skating and going and sitting under like a bush that had a little carve out, and I would sit under there for hours, it seemed like. And I'm like, was I crazy, or do kids not like go out and I just couldn't imagine a child doing something like that nowadays. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally, totally. Completely different experience. Ruckus, what about you? I mean, you were a skateboarder. You're still a skateboarder. You're a lifer. That may not have been the best example, but I could come up with a half a dozen more, or 2 dozen more, probably.
You want my comment about skateboarding or about phones making people hallucinate?
Yeah, both.
Okay, well, I like skateboarding. I still skateboard, so yeah. Although I have kind of upgraded. I am a little bit of I'm approaching singularity. I purchased an electronic skateboard, so I don't know. Klaus Schwab made me do it. Listen, I think we've had the whole thing wrong here about the smartphones. I've been doing a lot of research and reporting a lot of news lately, and I don't believe for a second that the use of electronics is making these kids crazy, but they're always on it. They're always on the screen. It's always right in front of their face. And I have seen plenty of examples of how these harsh chemicals are off-gassing from plastics and everything. Our clothes, actually, if you do a little research into this, it'll blow your mind. So I believe that what's really causing the problem here is the actual physical component itself. And I think that we're now, this is the golden age, and we got the techno bros in the White House. I think they're going to figure this out, and we're going to have a solution to this problem and go straight to the chips in the heads, because then it won't be off-gassing, we won't be breathing it, and we won't be hallucinating. Problem solved. Easy peasy.
So much for Maha. I guess Maha is just a joke then, and we're gonna have to get Neuralink. Okay. Yeah, well, you're right. That kind of comes down to the whole terrain theory, right? Like, if you give any credence to terrain theory, you kind of have to have a more holistic, you know, picture of what is going on, especially with kids, because you're right. Many of them don't drink water. They just only drink soda, and just like crap food. Uh, Inundated with EMF. EMF is another factor of that. They got the off gassing and all that, the plastics and everything. I think it's a little odd that they decided to use. Yeah, I agree with Bill Hicks there in the chat. It's odd that they used the word hallucinations, depending on how you define, hallucinations. I think for Gen X, we define it a little bit differently. Same with Boomer Gen, because, well, those were the drugs of the days. So if you've ever had real psychedelics, but I see what they're saying here, and a great example of it is potentially what we saw yesterday. We had another school incident, bang bang incident in school, and I spent a little bit of time today looking at the manifesto from this young person, and I don't know, man. I don't know. This is sort of a hard right turn here, a bit of a cul-de-sac, but I read enough of this person's alleged manifesto, and boy, I don't know that it's real, to be quite honest. I have a hard time accepting all these so-called social media posts that are supposed to frame and describe individuals who do this, but this one was a doozy. This one was a doozy. Basically, I don't even know if I want to get into it, but if we take it at face value, the way it's being reported, which I have a hard time with, but we'll suspend disbelief for a moment here. The narrative that's being spun about this individual, 17-year-old African American male from Antioch High School in Davidson County, Tennessee, I think, is one of internet radicalization. And it's very strange because he kind of wrote himself a question and answer in the manifesto. And he was shouting out people like Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, and others as sort of the I don't want to say inspiration, but people that influenced him in what the media is now calling internet radicalization. So, like most of these incidents, we will probably never know if it was organically occurring or something that was taken advantage of and somebody inserted this information in there for political talking point reasons. But that's the story they're giving us with this person. So if everything were above board, again, which I doubt, that would be a case that many would say, well, hey, that's a perfect example of the kind of false reality that can be implanted in a young person's malleable mind.
Well, the interesting thing that stuck out to me about that article that you brought up was that it's making kids more violent. And you would think that it would make them more subdued, and you'd think they want them to be more docile, but no, accelerationism is what they are looking for. So a couple of weeks ago, Jay had a girl from Twitter who was looking into this, what's called accelerationism, and it's just like radicalizing young kids to do acts of terror. And video games are involved in this. And so, like, you brought up his little manifesto, which going through it, it was so bizarre because I don't know if he is against the N words or for them. So do you know what I mean? Because some places it says that they'll take over and other places says they need to be eradicated. And so it's just like, what are you even, whose team are you on? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it was all over the place. It was all over the place, and it was just full of hateful rhetoric, aimed at all different segments of culture, race, ethnicity, political mindset. I mean, it was an absolute mess. Spore and I were reading parts of it this morning, and we're stopping after every question and just being like, "What? This is insane. This is total madness."
I missed it, but this one happened after the big day, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it happened yesterday. It happened on the 22nd, And
Okay, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I haven't been paying too much attention to the news. I did hear about the event. I didn't hear anything about a manifesto, but I certainly did not see on any of my news feeds any politician nor Trump himself coming out saying we need to ban the things. So that was nice.
yeah, actually, that would be one of the goods. Speaking of goods, bads, and fuglies, definitely seeing some walk back on some of the two-way assaults. And there it is right there for anyone who needs to see the article or not familiar with the story. Police review writings tied to Nashville school shooter who killed female student and then himself. So yeah, it's like 56 pages. His name was Solomon Henderson. He was a black 17-year-old student at Antioch High School, and he shot and killed one Jocelyn Escalante, who was 16, and then allegedly shot himself. So two casualties. The narrative is two casualties and one young person with a bullet grazing wound. So I don't know. A lot of fanfare there in his little manifesto to just murder someone at school and then kill himself. That's not. I don't know.
Well,
It's yeah. Go ahead.
this has to do a lot with the rage baiting content that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
How you are incentivized to just wake up and say the thing that will piss off the most amount of people online, which is wild in this climate because there's crazy people out there that will come to your door and you're going to pepper spray them and uh then they're going to go kill a dog and just crazy stuff because what you posted online. And like, I just don't understand a lot of these people. They're very reckless because the manifesto was talking about, like, I was radicalized by, Candace Owen, Nick Fuentes, Mr. Beast,
Yeah, Mr. Beast. Thanks. I forgot about that one.
Turkey Tom, Elijah, somebody, there was a whole list of people. He's like, these people and video games is what trained me to want to kill.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a hard time buying that one. Whenever I see that, it's just like, are you kidding me? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's people out there like that can be influenced in that way, but I've never come across one. And I've played thousands of hours of video games in my days. And no, if anything, it's made me safer when it comes to things like that.
Maybe they asked some sort of broken AI chatbot to come up with the manifesto. Who knows?
Yeah, that's why I put that comment on the screen there. From Karen RP. Definitely, it just felt so disjointed. But anyway, I mean, if it was really an organic event, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of connection there, but I would say Reddit did a lot more harm to this person's brain than any video games or anything like that. I would unfortunately look to Reddit. Did you notice the mentions of like /POL and a couple other different Reddit forums in there also, Jamie?
No, I didn't see that part.
Yeah, very Reddit oriented, social media oriented. And he made a comment in there about live streaming it. I don't know if it was actually live streamed or not this time around, but that's an attribute that we've been flagging up for some time now in the new daily shooter incidents.
Well, I think the violence is part of it because a lot of this is based on, like, what we were going to talk about last week is like this weird idea of masculinity and that it's equated with violence. um
Right. Yeah, a lot of that going on. I mean, maybe we should get into that, Jamie, because that's what we were going to talk about last week a little bit. Let's, we teased it a little bit, and we gave a link out to the show that you guys did about that, which is Clown World Con Men, Out of This World number 59, which can be found on your YouTube channel. Actually, do that this way instead. It'll look a little bit better. So it was you and Jay and our buddy Tristan. Shout out to Tristan.
Yeah.
Clown World. Yeah, out of this world. So you guys were talking about the Tate brothers, right? And the legal troubles that they're in. And one of the things I found really interesting was the way you guys kind of broke down his claims that he makes on social media about the status of these cases versus the actual status. But I wondered at the time when I was watching it, is this all going to change and flip flop? Because this is a highly politicized thing going on with those guys. And we've seen a lot of flip flops on highly politicized things lately. So give us the breakdown for anyone who may have missed, you guys' talk. And I'll link to it on the show page so that people can go watch it in its entirety.
Yeah, so everything that I'm about to say, I'm gonna put a little legal disclaimer, came straight from a book called Clown World: 4 Years Inside Andrew Tate's Manosphere by Jamie Tausen and Matt Shea, who they were journalists from the UK, and they were to embed themselves into this new growing group who was very well connected. And just figure out, like what is going on. And what they found out, well, first of all, we were just talking about what is reality. So, you'll hear a lot of things like the Matrix. So this is very heavily molded around like Matrix and Fight Club and a couple other sci-fi movies. But what they focus on is like custom made reality. So if you lie, and there's a lot of magic behind this too. So like, lying is just prophesying or speak it and it becomes true, all those kinds of thoughts. And so this is like one of the basis of like their secret teachings. And we like kind of dug pretty deep and figured out, they're taking from real world cults like Osho. I'm sure you guys have talked about,
Oh yeah, classic. Osho's a classic.
The booger whistle guy, who was also working with, I guess, the FBI or whatever, and like spying on people and, the mind control sex experiments. So you've got all of that going on. So let's see.
So real quick, Jamie, for people that don't like watch the Tate brothers or follow them, how would you describe what they do, just briefly?
Well, this book is about their war room. So it's like they have a society of men who, probably have paid a fee. And the book tells the story of their like initiation where they had to fight a professional fighter, even though they'd never fought anybody before. And learn these like secret techniques of masculinity. They're in Romania, and then they would be taken through like hypnoregression, and there is a lot of it is based on like his dad, who he calls Master Poe, and he wrote this like comic book of his dad, and it's called like oh man. But so he has people in this like club called the War Room. One of them is named Iggy Semmelweis, who was like a master Kabbalist, and he's the one who's doing the hypnotism on the guys and leading them through these like guided meditations. So a lot of the grooming network that they focus on is like how to hypnotize women, how to like control them with different kinds of sex, and just like you would find in like an Osho or some kind of cult like that. And a lot of this is based on sci-fi, like from Conan the Barbarian. So they call this thing the Scarlet Citadel, and which is this character who would make scrolls out of women's skin.
How do you base a cult on Conan the Barbarian? There's like 10 lines of dialogue in that movie.
It's like the novels, like the sci-fi novels. So
Oh, okay.
I guess in the books, there's a lot of like if you have a galactic harem and you have to like protect them, and like it's all about wizards and beastmasters and I mean, it sounds goofy, but then they have some like real world, MK Ultra mind control techniques going on about just basically how to entrap girls to like webcam for you.
It's very Boris Vallejo, isn't it?
I don't know who that is.
So Boris
I know.
Vallejo, you would know Boris Vallejo art. He's done
Frank
like,
Frazetta.
yeah, Frank Frazetta, Boris Vallejo, both those guys. It's like kind of the classic, like, Conan style artwork where it's like you've got your
Oh, yes.
hulking barbarian with a, well endowed chested blonde girl under him, like clutching his thigh or something.
Yeah, he's like on a pile of skulls and she's like hanging on
Yes.
his leg. Okay, exactly. But it gets really serious, and that's like why, I don't you have to be really careful because he's very well connected. And so like what are all of these ideas being disseminated to very influential people? Like it just gets weirder the more you study it.
And okay, so one of the things I also found really interesting in you guys' discussion, I don't know if this was part of the book or if these were threads that you guys were pulling on, but you all three of you made some great points about sort of, how we had, like, when I look back on the timeline before there really was a manosphere, like you basically had gamers, and then you had pickup artists, and then you kind of had Gamergate, and then you kind of had the birth of the manosphere and the men's rights, red pill sort of thing. And then, all the weirdness happened with culture around 2015, 16, and all of a sudden you've got MGTOW men going their own way, and then you've got the incels, the involuntary celibates. Like there was this, I think you used the word that I was thinking, which was schism. There was like a series of
Yeah.
fracturizations in, just sort of the generational young men, and girls involved too, but for the most part, young men, like really kind of turned into this whole thing. And, alt-right even played into that. And I noted in that manifesto, he was talking about being kind of nudged into alt-right philosophy too. So I know that's kind of a lot of cultural cul-de-sacs there, but I mean, what do you think about how that plays in? Like, are these guys predating on all of those crowds, or you know what I mean? Like, who's their target audience?
Yeah, for sure. Like people with who don't have a strong masculine role model. And I think they said at the very end of the book, it said, a pornography addict is the perfect target for what the brothers are doing, because they're trying to use their skills to make more of it. And their primary marketing tool is the weaponization of envy. So like you don't have enough Bugattis or whatever, you're never gonna break out of your wage slave job. You're not surrounded by hot babes like I am. And you'll see this a lot in social media now, is like pretty much getting people to do things through envy. And then once you start taking their courses, you figure out that a lot of their worldview is just like a cult of violence. Everything is war. Violence is the underpinning of masculinity, is what they'll say in the war room. And a lot of this is targeted at women.
So tell me if I have this right. They essentially do like influencer stuff and like offer online courses, right? So
Mhm.
their target audience, which are, porn addicted males with envy issues and such, uh to pay to join their, their coaching or whatever.
Mhm.
And then they teach them essentially cult tactics to do psychological operations on vulnerable women and
Mhm.
get them to be cam models for them. And then they manage, the goal, I assume, is that, the student wants to become like the teacher and be able to influence young women to do, whatever cam girls do. We all know what they do.
Mhm.
To make money for themselves. So then they sort of because what we've seen with those guys is they're under fire for having done exactly this,
Mhm.
uh, and then making a lot of money on it. And from what I can tell, they manage the money that their little cam harem gets,
Mhm.
and then gaslight them about what their value is while they pocket a lot of the money.
Right. Well, they call it the PhD, the pimp and host degree.
Oh well, that's pretty on the nose.
So yeah, it's called Hustlers University, and you get the PhD, and it's like a combination of like neurolinguistic programming and common weaponized narcissism, um, just all kinds of abuse, um, making her feel like she's your girlfriend. And well, first of all, they'll see who is pliant, like they'll book a date with a girl and be like, well, will you bring me something on your way or do me a favor? And based on how much she resists or is agreeable to just like little things like that, then they know you have like a nice person or someone who has boundaries. So he even went as far as to like make the guy who was coming to interview him from this book a box of chocolates, and they're like, why does he want me to bring him a box of chocolates? And like, so these are the kind of mind games that they even play on the men. And this week they've been doing a lot of like crypto. I don't know if you've seen that. They've got their own crypto coin.
No, what do they call it? Pimp and hoe coin?
Daddy coin.
Daddy coin.
I'm not joking.
Oh
And
my god, no.
yeah, and so people will buy into this, and he's even admitted like that a lot of times when you were chatting with girls, you were chatting with me because I know what to say to get more money out of you. So a lot of times he just like plain out admits, you know, the game. But that's why there's something fishy, because there's some kind of like mental block between people who want to try and defend him and the caliber of influencers he's able to get to go to bat for him. I mean, Donald Trump's lawyer is a
That's not
fan.
just fishy, that's catfishy, right?
But just to think that a lot of this, you should probably get the book if you're interested, because it names a lot of names that I don't want to bring up. But
Yeah, we don't
um,
want to take responsibility for all this name dropping per se. I mean,
yeah, so
yeah,
all of this is alleged, and
right.
so everything I've said is straight from this book. I have no like personal. I'm just reporting. I'm not accusing.
Yeah, that's right. We're only reporting the
Yeah,
news, everybody. Just saying what people, this is all open source information, obviously. But there's the
yeah.
book on the screen if anyone's interested. I see we've got some friends in the Discord that have I know a lot of people like this. They're like, a lot of people just they don't resonate with these guys' messages, because like what they do is a lot of like outrage shock sort of stuff
Mhm,
when they're
mhm,
live streaming and talking. Like I've seen enough of it to know that it fits a formula, and it's a formula that I've seen many times. So I myself am not very interested in it, or at least until I saw you guys' analysis of this book. But yeah, it's so anyways, yeah, the book is we'll link to the book on the show page, and it's been on the screen for anyone watching the show. um, the clown world. So these guys, is it a guy and a girl or two guys? You got Jamie Tashin and Matt Shea. So are
Yeah,
these
two guys.
two guys that
Yeah.
joined his coaching degree program on?
Yeah, they were journalists from the UK, and they just were trying to see what it was all about. And in the midst of that, it just got worse and worse for them. And then all of these other women came forward in the UK and contacted them because these guys, the Tate, have been on TV over there. You know, they were on like reality shows. And so they have strange connections. And then they went to Romania because the laws aren't as strict, they said, on, you know, dealings with underage people. And
Oh, great.
yeah, so they openly.
Sounds like they're on the path to becoming a world leader somewhere.
Well, that was what's funny was last week he was saying, I'm going to run for Prime Minister of England, which,
Great.
well, it's just crazy because you think that these things are outrageous, but then he keeps on getting on, you know, the highest platforms there is.
Yeah, what's up with that? And I mean, the UK's trying to, or they would like to extradite him, right? Because they allegedly have some charges against them in the UK that they might be facing.
Right. So as soon as this is over, then they have to go over there and deal with that. But there's different spells at work here, and this is one of them. So a lot of people under that spell, and then a lot of people are under the alien spell, which we can talk about after we're done here, like Project Stargate, because I think the last time we talked, me and BLA were talking about the Stargate conspiracy.
Ah, yes, yes. Expand on that a little bit.
So we read that book, Stargate Conspiracy, about you know, basically the people from Sirius that have had a hand in you know, sort of mixing hybrids or making creation on Earth or whatever. And so there's all those texts that talk about like the Dogon and uh, the beings from Sirius, the Anunnaki, and they would be back when we needed them, sort of like a superhero starman savior. And this week has been popping off with so many like UFOs, and I'm sure you've seen the drones, and the drones turning into UFOs or plasma blobs. Um, so
Yep.
there's like so many different episodes going on at one time. I feel like it's hard to just watch one channel. So you know, the relations between male and female right now are really abysmal, and it has a lot to do with this, you know, manosphere Tate content. And then people are really going to get their world rocked when the aliens show up, or like the psyop kicks off into high gear.
Right. And of course, totally unrelated other than just the vibe and sound and title of it, we've got this new group of technocrat oligarchs and Trump touting their Project Stargate.
Yeah,
Isn't that interesting that would happen and be called that right now?
exactly. And so Project Stargate is, you know, just more AI and interfacing with AI. And you've got the Elon bots coming out, right? Were they called Optimus?
Yep.
So,
Kim
so
Kardashian has one making her soup right now, I hear.
oh man. So we're about to do a stream on movies that feature like sex bots and wife bots.
Oh, nice. You're going to
AI,
include the new Megan Fox movie, I assume. That's been added to the canon recently.
yeah, that was in there, sure. So yeah, I've been talking about that for a long time, and I think a lot of this content that pushes division between men and women is also part of paving the way for these robots to come in, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Jamie, because last week Spore had icebreaker kind of set up for this conversation, and it was after I tell you what it was, I'll see if I can bring it up, put it on screen for anybody who might have missed it. But it was a study saying that women are going to be the primary or be using more sex bots in 2025 than men.
Well, wouldn't that be ironic plot twist too? Because it was been the men this whole time saying, if you don't shape up, we're going to replace you with a robot.
Right?
And posting girls crying, like a homeless person as a handsome man walks down the street with his robotic girlfriend, right? Just silly stuff like that. But that's what they've been saying the past couple years. You know, you're going to end up alone with all your cats if you don't learn to submit. And a lot of that has to do with what they teach in the war room, that women are the source of all evil and that they are dragons to be tamed, and you're safer with a robot or a man.
And wouldn't that be like, why is this not the expected 180 flip bait and switch that people didn't see coming? I mean, it's just like so predictable almost.
Like Robo Boyfriend can protect you because he's probably stronger than any man, right?
Oh, yeah.
Will do, like, he'll cook for you, he'll do your taxes in his little robo brain, like Robo Boyfriend won't cheat on you or bring you STDs or baby mamas. Yeah.
Right. And of course it's going to be like, you know, you buy your Atlas, right? And you give it a name, and of course you're going to name it Chad, right? If you're a lady, you're going to name it Chad. Here I go again. Sorry to all the Chads out there. You name it Chad, and then it's like you got to pay all the monthly things for it, and then you buy the upgrades, right? You buy the big D, you buy the protective plug-in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
of course, you have to pay for all these upgrades. There you go. Ruckus is there's Giga Chad right there. It's Giga Chad Tate.
Your new robot lover, everybody.
There you go. He won't put you on a cam, you know, as long as you pay the 20 grand to buy him and the monthlies for all your upgrades.
He has not installed Instagram, and he will unlike all of his
Right?
is blocked.
Oh, now, Jamie, now you're just encouraging women to get the Chad sex bot. They're like, I can't get a boyfriend and not have to do this whole Instagram thing with him. I like have to train this guy on Instagram. I wouldn't have to do that with Giga Chad Tate bot, would I?
No. And maybe he can trade cryptos for you and buy daddy coin before it dumps.
If you buy now, your Chad Tate sex robot comes with 400 daddy coins. You know. So.
Yep. Call me daddy coins. And like we're gonna be the AI and crypto capital of the world, he said.
Well, I mean, that's what Trump said too.
Yeah.
Right? He just said
Trump must be a fan of Tate. See where he got it from.
Well, dude, he said that a couple days ago, he said, I know the Trump family well, and him and Barron talk on the phone. I'm like, are you serious?
What?
Oh,
no. Come on, Barron's like everybody's new hero right now. You're telling me he's got a back channel with these the Tate brothers? I mean, that's not good.
I like my suitcase. You know, did you hear that?
Tell us.
It was a sound on TikTok of Barron when he was like 5 years old, and he had like a Louis Vuitton suitcase going to his kindergarten, and he goes, I like my suitcase. And he says, I have to go to school now. And you hear Melania, yeah, you have to go to school after lunch. So they made that a sound on TikTok, and I like my suitcase went viral, right? The cutest thing ever. It even got one of those songs, like those auto-tune songs, right?
Oh, that's how you know you're really viral.
Yeah. Yeah, but now he's pretty stoic. But like the weirdest thing about him is, do you remember those books, like The Adventures of Baron von Trump?
Oh yeah.
That were going around, like the old books, and I want to like
dig deeper into that and see what they said, because Elon was also predicted in an old book.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the author, but it was like a race from
Kid is
Mars
damn
called
tall.
He's so tall. He's Anunnaki. Whoa, no, that's fake.
This one went kind of semi-viral
That's
too.
totally real. Totally
It was
real.
cracking me up though.
That's funny.
Jamie, I just I think it's been out for a while, but I hadn't seen it till recently. The nanny of Elon Musk. Have you guys seen this? She said that when Elon Musk was a kid, he opened up like a portal in his bedroom and he was jumping up and down, saying, "Moon, come down and play with me," and all this weird stuff. Did you see that?
Oh, I missed the portal one.
Some crazy stuff going out there. But anyways, that wasn't the weird part, believe it or not. The weird part was that the lady who told the story, the nanny allegedly, and apparently she really was his nanny, she said that afterwards that one of his family members, I don't remember who she said it was, told her that you better not let anything happen to that kid because he's going to rule the world one day.
Oh,
creepy.
Yeah,
Right.
I saw the one of the nanny who was like, he's gonna present the mark or something.
Yeah, I think it's
Weird
the
like
same
that.
chick. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, same one. Yeah.
Well,
She was allegedly told all this, but she says she witnessed herself that he had opened up some sort of portal. Yeah, I have no idea.
it's the
Weird.
Stargate.
Exactly.
There you go.
Stargate. By the way, where have we heard the Project Stargate before? Anybody?
Remote viewing.
That was this. Yes, right. There it is. Yep, the remote viewing. The CIA's. Did they declassify that? I don't know. I think this is a generally accepted thing. I thought everybody knew this, right? But,
Oh yeah,
and-
mommy bloggers talk about remote viewing now. I see mommy bloggers doing remote viewing stuff, and it's so funny to me because I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but back in the 90s when I used to listen to Art Bell pretty much nightly with my dad, one of our favorite guests was Major Ed Dames. And Major Ed Dames, to me, that was the first time I had ever heard of remote viewing. And he had this whole shtick that he would do on the Art Bell show. And it was basically end times prophecies. He was very into the 2012 apocalypse that never happened.
Yeah, that they mentioned that in the Stargate conspiracy that me and BLA did. The remote viewing was Andrei Puharich and Uri Geller.
Oh yeah,
and they had a camp up in upstate New England where they had kids. They called the Gellers kids. Probably MK Ultra kind of stuff, but seeing if they were good at remote viewing. So it's kind of like X-Men First Class, like psychic powers and telekinesis, all that kind of stuff. Firestarter, you know, all the classic powers. But this is well documented in that Stargate conspiracy.
All right, so we'll put a link to that book on the show page as well. Big shout out to Anna over on Rockfin. Thank you for the tip. We appreciate that. Definitely viewer and listener supported alternate current radio over here. So thank you, Anna, and anybody who's reached out and dropped anything in the swear jar, which is what we call our PayPal, or tipped on any of the channels. We really appreciate that. You can find all our links for that stuff on our website, alternatecurrentradio.com. Ruckus has links to his Buy Me a Coffee and all that good stuff too. So yeah, we really appreciate that. Here's another one I wanted to show you guys. This I thought was funny. Let's see here. Am I sharing this screen already? Oh, I am.
Yeah, you guys fucking suck at your job.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and mute that just in case it's copyright music. But Baron got his own. He's been getting a lot of memes points.
I think we know what he said now. Jamie gave it away. He said, "I love my suitcase."
Yes, I like my suitcase.
There it is. So I'll do that clip. If you can find me that audio, we can easily do that. That'll be a piece of cake.
Yeah. That's a digestible statement for old Biden too. He'd be like, "I like your suitcase."
So he
Oh,
said,
no,
"No
he
ice
left a
cream for
note.
you tonight."
Yeah. Yeah, the note. It said, "Do nice things and do what they say, and you get ice cream."
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Jamie, do you know Project Looking Glass? Nimble Guest 115223 mentioned Project Looking Glass.
Is that the seeing the future?
I think so.
They can't see past a certain year.
Yeah. Okay. That was Major Ed Dame's thing. We don't see anything. Like, we're able to find, your missing pet, your missing child, or whatever, but we can't see anything beyond 2012.
Yeah, 2012 was the Mayan calendar psyop.
Right.
I remember the end of the world like it was just yesterday.
I know.
We've
had
been
so
through this
many.
times.
I feel like we kind of just had another one too. Like, they've been threatening us with all this nuclear warfare and all this stuff for the last couple years, and now they're talking about nuclear de-escalation again. It's all
some CERN physicist was out there doom porning everybody, saying that the planets were all aligned and shit, and that CERN wasn't operating. And I'm just like, okay, stop.
I know. Please stop with all this, please.
Yeah, I think we're getting aliens and AI, not nuclear wars. So, fingers crossed, your little Syrians are running around. So I just did a show, speaking of Stargates, about Freemasonry and the hive mind that they are trying to create through the ritual of a body that works in unison, right? I can dig up the quote if you want me to in a second, but so yeah, the ritual is designed to make them all work as a one mind, and
kind of like all the big X accounts do, right?
yeah, exactly.
Breaking hive mind news.
But their direction comes from Sirius. So Sirius features heavily in the Stargate conspiracy because of the Sirius mystery. Part of the Anunnaki tales is that they may come from Sirius, right? Mm-hmm. And they see the Sirius as their great white lodge in Masonry, right? And also, this is represented by, the eye in the sky. I am the eye in the sky. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alan Parsons Project. So the song right before that is Sirius. So we just showed, detailing how all the ancient cultures venerate the star: Egyptians, Babylonians, Assyrians, how Washington, D.C. is laid out with a plan according to the Egyptian hieroglyph for the star Sirius. It's an obelisk, a dome, and a pentagram. Right.
Right.
And
with the reflecting pool.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So why are all of these religions and world leaders obsessed with this Sirius star? And now you have Stephen Greer coming out with his new disclosure stuff. Super silly. I know. That's why I put that little avatar. Every once in a while, they'll roll out a dusty little alien, and everyone will be like, "Ooh, look at that thing!" And so I was remembering that little thing that they brought up in 2013. It was a couple inches tall. Google that.
Well, homunculoid alien made of cake or something.
No, it looks like a little carved doll or something. And it's
now we get that grainy footage of them pushing a little balloon with a stick or some shit. What is that?
No, that's what I'm leading up to. So now it's the egg. They're dangling this egg from the helicopter, and everyone's going crazy about this egg UAP or egg UFO, right? And we had just been talking about the connections between Sirius and eggs, because the people that came from Sirius were supposed to be aquatic fishmen, like Dagon from the Bible, and they live in their crafts under the sea and fly around in eggs, and now we have these eggs coming back. So for people who, and they also talk about this stuff, in Congress. So disclosure is going to be part of the plot, I think, very soon. Everyone's going to have to shift to be thinking about what they believe about aliens.
Yay, that's going to be fun. We can't wait for that. Ugh. Let's see. Nimble Guest also brings up in the Rumble chat. Kolob is a star or planet described in the Book of Abraham, a sacred text of the Latter-day Saint movement. So the Mormons have their own thing like this. Several of these denominations claim that the Book of Abraham was translated from an Egyptian papyrus scroll by Joseph Smith, the founder of the movement. This is also funny. According to the work, Kolob is the heavenly body nearest to the throne of God. So I guess even if you're Mitt Romney, you've got sort of your own version of this, right?
Well, Mormonism is Masonry. Even when he was killed, he tried to throw up a Masonic hand sign, and it didn't work, and they shot him anyways. So Mormonism is a mystical branch. It's a derivative of Masonry and, your own sex cult. So basically, when you are in contact with a lot of these people like John Dee and Edward Kelly and a lot of these other magicians, they are going to tell you the angels love to do wife swapping, right?
Of course. I mean, why
yeah.
would
They love butt stuff and wife swapping. So Joseph Smith and his, I think, who's at Brigham Young, the angel's like, yeah, you need to be polygamous and make a bunch of star children so you can populate, the different planets, because you're going to rule over your own planet if you do it our way. So yeah, they just became this sort of.
This is why I have a lot of respect for L. Ron Hubbard. May he rest in peace. I'm just kidding, folks. But the thing is, he sat there and looked at all these weird mystical things and said, you know what? Hold my beer. I'm going to one-up you and just make the goofiest shit on the planet, and you watch. I got this. And he was right. He got so many people fooled. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Dianetics.
Whatever. Yeah. And so he was a Crowleyist, and they have this thing called LOM. I don't know if you know about that guy.
The gray guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to have come in an egg. And
okay.
The movie Aliens.
Who laid the egg?
The Aliens franchise, Hesher, the facehuggers come out of the egg, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the poster, it's like a green
The
light
poster is the egg. You're right. Yeah.
You're so right. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that.
That's perfect. So I guess we know who laid the egg now. It was the mother alien.
But hasn't there been a long rumor that Ridley Scott was involved in that kind of stuff?
Well, we know the artist H.R. Giger was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Who did the drawing of the alien head? The phallic grapist head.
The original design was an actual thing on the end, if I'm not mistaken, but they went with something. They said, no, you can't do that.
Right, I'm sure it just had another little mouth inside, right? But even
no, it's just the back of the head literally looked like a dong.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'd heard this, anyways.
I think I've got some Giger right here.
Oh, there you go. Crazy.
For sure. So so these aliens from Sirius. So now Stephen Greer, he just made a TikTok, and he just opened up this new channel for this soft disclosure. So aliens are gonna come save us from our nuclear holocaust, or they're gonna swoop in right when we need them the most, when we're all infected and blood's dripping out of our eyeballs, and they're gonna administer the antidote or what, so.
Q won't let it happen.
No, that's the plan. You got to trust the plan, right?
We all know Q is Melania now, right? This is official. Just kidding.
I've been loving the spy versus spy memes of Melania. Those are funny.
Oh yeah, she's the only one I can actually stand of all of them. Like, she's the only
Well,
one I like.
Jamie, she did clearly do a bit of a Masonic darkness to light ritual there with her outfit. You got to admit.
Oh yeah, with the hat and the dark. Well, everyone was making fun of her hand under the Bible, and I'm like, maybe it's just a shadow. I don't.
I always thought everyone was making a big deal out of the fact that Donnie T didn't touch the Bible. Weird.
Right.
He did not put his hand on it.
Oh, that was another thing we were talking about. So, according to some researchers, apparently during the inauguration times, they are simultaneously doing a Masonic ritual for the raising of Osiris.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Did you guys see? I'm sure you did. The clip that's been clipped out and going viral of Eric Trump busting out the Mason sign and Laura Trump like tapping him on the shoulder, like, "Honey, stop! You're showing your Mason sign."
Yeah, the triangle. So that's like even Andrew does that triangle of manifestation, or it's called a mudra. Yeah.
There
Exactly.
you
So I can't remember exactly which mudra it is, but it's like a root chakra power move. Like a magical hand sign. In Kabbalah, it's called triangle of manifestation.
So like you get lots of mana points if you flash it on like national TV or big internet or whatever.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, some of this stuff is so cringe. Like when you look at magic, it's just 13-year-old boys fantasy stuff.
Right. That's why I brought up like Boris Vallejo, like when you brought up Conan, and it's just like, okay, this is all just so I don't know. It takes me back to when I was a kid, it was just like sort of our version of sci-fi, was a lot of stuff like that. I don't know how old Andrew Tate is, but I'm guessing
Dungeons and Dragons is part of this.
yeah, right.
So it's definitely has to do with sci-fi fantasy, and sci-fi that's its own subject of mind control.
Right. Isn't it weird how like back in like the early 2000s, the Matrix was sort of like a good metaphor to use, and now it's just like it's like spread, it's so diluted now. That people like this are using it for purposes like this.
Well, I think it's because they want to push the simulation theory or
Mm.
game theory that reality isn't real,
Hmm.
and that we all live in a matrix, and we can control the matrix. That's part of what the insider, war room or whatever, real world.
Yeah, not break out of the Matrix, but become Neo and control the Matrix, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're getting at. And so even another group of theirs is called real world, as opposed to the fake world or clown world of the NPCs. So we live in the real world, i.e., we know how to program the matrix, which is a lot of just like hermetic mind over matter. The secret, like manifest, if you put yourself in alignment with it. Like I've heard all of the alien gurus like Bashar and Esther Hicks, and it's all just repackaged stuff from ancient Egypt, from Hermetica, and like you are what you think you are.
Right. Sort of that if you think it, you can create it sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Manifestation and all that. We were talking about okay, so I don't know why it came up again, but the ancient alien people love to talk about how in the hieroglyphics they're holding like what appears to be like a purse or a handbag or a suitcase, right?
Oh yeah.
Like Baron. Maybe that's why he was so excited.
Suitcase.
I like it. And they even have a wristwatch. I don't know if you've seen in any of those reliefs, and they're like, what is this circular wristwatch thing on the Anunnaki's wrist? I mean, like, I don't know, man.
It's an Apple Watch, clearly.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. I'm just a worthless slave here to fetch gold for them or something.
Right.
Well, that's another part of the psyop. So people just watch. Everyone's gonna, not everyone, but certain people are gonna like have an awakening that I'm part, Pleiadian, or I'm part Syrian. I'm getting downloads from the mothership. The Glee blurbs tell me that I'm the ultimate Zer. Like, we need to just love each other.
Have you met anybody like that? I have. I have
Of
a friend in
course.
real
Oh,
life
yeah,
who
yeah.
100% convinced, no joke, he is like an alien hybrid. He knows the whole story of his abduction and everything, the name of his alien father. It's crazy. And the dude is not mental at all. Otherwise, I mean, that's pretty weird to me.
Yeah, like he has a job and everything.
Yeah,
like
totally
these
normal
are the
guy.
kind of people you meet at conventions and stuff when you go to a lot of like Alien Con or like Conspiracy Con. We just went to a scary movie convention. Jay got invited to speak about horror movies, occult and horror movies, and we had a booth there, and it's just kind of funny what kind of people you end up in the same room with. Like to the left of us, we've got like Count Gore Duvall, who was like the male Elvira. He's still out here being Dracula 80 years later. And then to the right, we have like all these John Carpenter. Actually, it was cool. It was one of the composers of the John Carpenter soundtracks, Alan Howarth.
Oh, cool.
He wrote all the classic Halloween themes and.
Nice.
Oh yeah, there's Gore Duvall.
There he is. I found him.
Yeah, so these are the people that I are my peers, apparently.
Who'd have thought you'd
The
end up
real
there,
one?
huh?
He was
Right.
there? The real guy? Or was it
Yeah, he was there.
Oh, wow. Cool.
He had a booth
Did you
right
get
next
his
to us.
autograph?
No, we were kind of busy, but
Jay learned his lesson about asking for autographs back when he met Beastmaster.
right? They're expensive. I know.
They're not free.
Autographs is a great racket, but so yeah, people that come up to your booth want to talk all this nonsense about, I'm gang stalked and I'm like, the princess of Pleiades and I'm the seventh son of like the king of Atlantis, and or tell you all their conspiracy theory. You just get like a handful of mixed nuts, right?
Well, it's not a bad racket because, they're sort of hedging. It's like, maybe this will catch on, and if it catches on, I should be a cult leader. You should always have like a fallback, cult leader position in mind in case life gets rough or you have an opportunity, right?
Well, and they've
or if you want to run for president.
Oh, snap.
Sorry. I take it back.
They've got this cult leader formula all zipped up. You have to find a targeted audience, and then you have to figure out who that they think is they can have contempt for. If it's like men, it's like we hate women, or if it's like women, we hate men. It's like you have to find somebody, appeal to their anger and bitterness and hate, tell them that you have a solution and that you are the holder of some ultimate truth, as in, I know the keys to the matrix, for example, right? Or Osho, I know the way to enlightenment, freedom, all of I can't believe what people fall for. But yeah, so
it was easy back in the day when everybody else didn't know how to read, see, and we're swiftly reapproaching that era now as we keep passing on all of our mental faculty tasks that we used to be good at as humans to the machines. So we could be getting back to a dumbed down civilization where we're dependent on either the elite priest class, who are probably now going to be the machines. The AI will now serve that role to set us dumb folks straight.
Well, not only the dumb people, but the non-upgraded. So this also has to do with...
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, but you're right. Like, they want hybrids now. Machine hybrids and animal hybrids. They just passed some kind of law in Japan where they said that you can start experimenting on animal-human hybrids.
I saw that.
Always with Japan. What the hell is Japan's problem?
They got their own dose after World War II. Like,
have they not seen Alien Resurrection? Do they not know how this works out? I mean, come on.
Right?
You end up with a whole room full of mistaken Ripley hybrids.
They were all traumatized by those Ring movies, I guess.
Right. Well, I can't help but sort of pivot at this point because we're kind of like bumping up against the edges of this topic here. Let me put this on the screen. Let's talk about Larry Ellison and Stargate for a second here. Here's something that was said just the other night.
First data centers are actually under construction in Texas already, and we'll be turning them over to Sam to start training their next model. The data center we already built, it was the largest computer ever built. The data center we're building will surpass it and be the largest computer ever built, which enables this AI, which will allow personalized medicine. This is going to touch all of us. Yes, it takes a huge investment, but the result of the investment will be vaccines that prevent cancers, personalized medicine, where we never again run into a problem like COVID-19 before, because we get an early warning. We know when COVID starts, when there are a handful of patients, rather than having to wait until it's become an epidemic and very difficult to control. This is a very large investment that affects all of humanity.
All right. Don't even.
It affects his wallet, his net worth. That's what it affects.
Yeah, and his has no problems. Like, no problems whatsoever. Larry Ellison is probably one of the technocrats that is not talked about as much as he should be. Back when I worked for the Navy, I did a lot of IT projects that were built on Oracle gear. And I remember being so offended at the cost of his stuff, like the cost. And on top of that, he was doing a similar thing that Zuckerberg over here does, which is hoovering up and buying up anything that looked like it could compete with something that he was building, or could be a nice addition to the software suite. And I mean, it was so expensive just to license the high-end Oracle database and to use. That was the first time I used anything that was billed as artificial intelligence. We had so this is around the 2000, between 2003 and 2015 or so, that I used to work on this stuff. And it was insane. Like how many Oracle reps you would have to have coming out to site to do any upgrades or anything. Like I got so frustrated. It was like, look, I could build you an enterprise IT system on open source software, using PHP and MySQL, rather than using this guy's thing that, we have to pay $70,000, or picking an arbitrary number, but it wasn't plus or minus 10,000 from that at the time. And this guy had so many government contracts. I mean, this guy had more government contracts at the time than Bezos or Elon or anybody. And of course, he's one of the people involved with Palantir, in the sense that I guarantee you the Palantir backend runs on Oracle software. And, we talk about Elon Musk a lot, about how he wants to be Tony Stark, but I think Larry Ellison is the real Tony Stark wannabe. He was even in an Iron Man movie. I believe he was in Iron Man 3 in a cameo. So this whole concept of Project Stargate and tying it to supercomputers, artificial intelligence, and selling it to the public as a good thing, using the whole COVID talking point.
The Oracle guy. This is all like as in the Oracle of Delphi, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we can assume that's probably behind the naming of his company.
Well, that's two divination type things right there. If he's the Oracle guy and now Project Stargate with the CIA's thing, I don't know. And I've heard there was a lot of folks that say, historically speaking, they think that what was going on with the Oracle of Delphi was there was, again, no joke, some sort of off gassing going on, that like she was all high on some fumes going on with the volcano or some shit like that.
Oh
Seriously.
yeah, the priestess would sit in a chair above the fissure where the gases would come out and let it enter her between her legs, and like a snake, and that's why the words for priestess and python and Pythia come from. So yeah, the gases definitely have something to do with that.
Weird.
Yeah. So they say that this project, if you're not familiar, they say that this project Stargate is they're calling it part of Trump's initiative, and he's definitely out there talking about it. But I found it interesting that he's saying that the government's not putting money into it, just these tech oligarchs. So it's like, don't be mad. We're not going to use your tax dollars, but we're going to make sure that Sam Altman of OpenAI, Larry Ellison of Oracle, and Masayushi Son of SoftBank and others are going to be building this thing with their own money, and it's all for your own health benefits. Does that sound familiar? That kind of sounds like the Neuralink pitch, right? Because it's like, oh, I'm going to build this. I'm going to build enough of these robots to sew a Neuralink into 6 billion people's heads, no problem. And we're going to do it because of, autism, or because of cataracts, or because of, whatever, affliction, cancer, whatever. It's interesting though, when you look into some of these people, like I've seen this one reposted, MTRX is real posted this one. Let me this is an older clip of Larry Ellison talking here, but this is says a lot.
Will be on their best behavior, because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on, and it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. All right, I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times. And the supervision will, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever we need to take control of the situation. We have, same thing. We have drones. If there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop. A drone goes out there, get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple. And the new generation of autonomous drones. Citizens will be on their best behavior.
So there you go. Citizens will be on their best behavior because everything they do will all be on tape, on live video, and monitored by artificial intelligence. So that's sort of his vision, many people's vision, actually, for the technocratic authoritarian state of the future.
Isn't that what we've always wanted? More AI surveillance?
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I think the whole, like, one of the big points of this is the classic problem reaction solution, right? For people to want the all-seeing eye, right? Like someone might argue, a technocrat bootlicker might argue that what happened in Nashville yesterday will never happen again if we've got, floating cameras everywhere on everyone. So a flurry of events that can be managed with more surveillance. This I think is probably one of the biggest points of turning all of the technocrat oligarchs into, freedom loving conservatives. They're grifting on, the zeitgeist right now.
Well, just think of it as your little AI guardian angel.
Well, I mean, isn't that where it leads to, where you have your own AI buddy, and your own AI buddy is one of those cameras on you all the time, and then perhaps the next level up is not just this guy floating around next to you, and you can name her Scarlet or whatever, or if you can afford an Optimus, then it's in there.
Mhm.
But that next phase is in your head, because that's when the Neuralink comes in, because the cameras can only observe you doing things and saying things, and the computers can observe you typing things. But if you got Neuralink in your head, it's quite possibly, if it works the way they say
What
it
did he
does.
just think? He just thought that
Yeah,
thought. That thought.
exactly.
Wow, get him.
That's where that heads. So they all like, the conspiracies converge, I suppose, at that point.
I don't know if you guys heard about book bannings. Have you heard about that at all?
What do you mean? Expand.
So just stuff goes around, on X and TikTok. I have no idea what's, hyperbole or not anymore. But apparently people have been posting books that they want to start banning. A lot of classics, 1984, Animal Farm, those type of
There's
Fahrenheit
no
450.
way.
I
No
don't.
way.
Book bans. What?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but the TikTok ban might have been a way for Facebook to take over, and Meta to take over TikTok, because a lot of people have been reporting that it hasn't been the same since it came back online.
Oh, maybe they just had to reboot it to change it a bit.
Well, to switch the servers over to, Facebook servers, like, because you mentioned that Zuckerberg always wanted to acquire things that were a competition to him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's been lobbying against TikTok for a couple years at least, and that's why that even came to be a thing, because of Facebook lobbying against TikTok. And then the rumor is that they finally just gave in and sold it to him.
Which would be funny, because Zuckerberg basically ripped TikTok off with IG Reels and having stories on Facebook itself.
Yeah, but the algorithms aren't the same, and people notice that. Like, I even noticed it too, because I always have a lot of cute animals pop up on my TikTok algorithm. And then when it came back, like, all of that stuff was gone. You see a lot of weird people you don't recognize. The funny thing was, actually, the week before the ban of TikTok, it was going back and forth. It was like, they're gonna ban it. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Then they're gonna extend it for however long, and then they finally went dark. But in preparation for this, everybody went to this Chinese app called Red Note, because they were trying to say that they don't want China to have our data, and it's a national security threat, and that's why you can't have TikTok. And everyone's like, screw you. We'll just go directly to China, because apps like Meta are worse for data stealing, and you give more information to Chinese websites like Temu and Shein and these like big shopping malls from China than you ever do to TikTok. So everyone just went over to Red Note and made a bunch of Chinese friends, and there was a lot of like cultural discussions going on about how a lot of people in China live better than Americans. Like, they would show their grocery haul, and Americans like, dang, you actually got a bunch of groceries for a reasonable price, and they're living a lot better over there. And then the Chinese people are reporting like, wow, we didn't know like how bad you had it. So it was very interesting cultural exchange when they thought TikTok was going to be taken away. They just went straight to the Chinese people and started making friends over there.
I did see that, and I saw a lot of Chinese users really mad about all the pale-faced people that were showing up in their feed all of a sudden too.
Well, also during the 12 hours that Americans were banned, a lot of other countries came out and were like talking smack about Americans
Yeah.
behind their back. But then a lot of them realized like we're way too entertaining. We need them because they're the funniest and the most entertaining.
Yeah.
I heard there was a popular hashtag or a slogan that everyone used to love saying on TikTok. They're not allowed to say it anymore. Weird.
What is that?
I can't say it because we're on YouTube, but it has
Oh,
to do with freeing a particular country that
oh,
most
that. Yeah.
mainstream does not want them to be free, apparently.
Yeah, they really don't. I was going to ask you that next. Are you seeing any of the same stuff in your feed that you used to see giving information about the conflict in Gaza?
Oh, heck no. That's all been scrubbed, completely gone along with my rock hyraxes. So no more updates on that place, which, that was a crazy thing to witness, just an entire place get wiped out and no one could do anything about it.
Yeah. And I mean, that was, as far as I can tell, that was the main goal of getting rid of TikTok. It had nothing to do with China or data collection or anything like that. I don't think our government gives a shit about that.
No, and I think it was just too ahead of the curve because you would find out things on there that you didn't find out till 2 days later, on X or whatever. And it was like boots on the ground actually having footage of what's actually happening. So
90% of what was on X for a while there was just people reposting, re-uploading from TikTok, and now it's just them reposting and uploading themselves. It's weird.
Yeah. A lot of that. I have a great clip about the TikTok ban, but of course it's buried under 10,000 links. Here we go. Found it. Let me put this one on.
V is the 24/7 news channel of so many of our young people, and it's like Al Jazeera on steroids.
In November of 2023, a recording was leaked of Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the ADL, referring to TikTok as a problem that needed to be taken care of.
We have a major generational problem. The issue in the United States in support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old. And so we really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem, that our community needs to put the same brains that gave us Fugly, the same brains that gave us all these other amazing innovations, need to put our energy towards this, like fast.
Now, one interesting side note here is that I came across an ADL report expressing frustration that they couldn't access TikTok's analytics the way they can with every other big tech company. Like, should they be able to do that? Anyway, now we're about a month into this war, and all these studies started coming out, making claims about the proliferation of anti-Semitism on TikTok. The most notable one from a statistician and tech executive named Anthony Goldblum. He tweeted out on November 30th that a study he commissioned concluded 30 minutes a day on TikTok makes someone 17% more anti-Semitic. Politicians like Nikki Haley would then go on to regurgitate this claim on national television.
We do need to ban TikTok once and for all. And let me tell you why. For every 30 minutes that someone watches TikTok every day, they become 17% more anti-Semitic.
Except that survey didn't say that at all because A, it conflated anti-Israel and anti-Semitic sentiments, which I believe to be different. And B, Goldblum himself admitted that he made some logical leaps when he was drawing his conclusion. But now things are really moving at a rapid pace. The next day, on December 1st, 2023, the New York Post reported that a group of 40 mostly Jewish tech leaders and business executives confronted TikTok CEO Shouzi Chu over their concerns about anti-Semitism and the allegedly disproportionate popularity of pro-Palestine videos on the app. One of those executives, Anthony Goldblum, the same Anthony Goldblum who we were just talking about. And from everything I understand, the meeting didn't go well in the sense that TikTok didn't commit to a kind of wholesale removal of pro-Palestinian or anti-Israel content. So from then on, the fight against TikTok pivoted from a kind of PR battle that we were just looking at to now laying the groundwork to push legislation through that would ultimately ban the app.
All right, we'll stop it there. It's a bit of a long clip. It's an older clip, but timely considering what we're talking about now.
Especially with legislation concerning the anti-Semitism thing. They did that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what the status of that one is. That one was looking like it was going to be a big thing last year, and it's certainly going to keep rearing its head. That's for sure. So, that between that and Telegram, I think that's where people were getting the most unfiltered information on that conflict, and it's too bad to hear that one of those resources is gone, especially when they lie to people about why it's gone.
People were making jokes about how it's a zombie now, or calling it Titch Toch. Right. It's just different. It's funny how all these different platforms have their own flavor. X definitely has a vibe now that a lot of people don't enjoy. I get in and get out just so I don't make myself upset. Post what I gotta post and share what I gotta share, and then I leave. It's likened to like a bad town that you have to commute to, and you want to like get out before dark.
Right. Don't be there past 5 p.m., guys.
No, don't be on X after dark because you're gonna get your
Don't
feelings
be
hurt.
afraid to use the block button, and you'll be okay.
Oh man, I use the mute because I don't want them to know that I even care.
Don't give them the satisfaction.
Yeah. Yes. But like TikTok, I don't post there really a lot because that's the place where it used to be, but it was like it would show me nice things. I'm not a creepy perv, so my algorithm shows me things that I like and they're helpful and that I can use and enjoy. So I always preferred if I had time to unwind just to go to TikTok and laugh a little bit. Whereas opposed to X, you're just getting upset about things all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't really use Instagram a lot because, again, TikTok, real people just bear their bare face on TikTok, not like Instagram. I've noticed it's just it is what it is. You come on, no makeup, in the bed, out of the bed, you just, whatever is real, you're posting it in real time. Instagram obviously has more of a veneer.
Yeah.
Models and influencers, and so it's a lot more
And AI generated ones too.
Yeah.
By the
All
way.
the filters too, all the chicks that do this. My gosh, the filters going on, the Barbie filters and all this crap. It's just
mm-hmm.
That gets back to that envy topic you were talking about earlier. But yeah, TikTok definitely is more visceral.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I do see where it tries to influence you to negative things sometimes. I know what it wants me to spend all my money on,
And it thinks it knows what you want to spend your money on.
Yeah, but
and no one's ever going to forgive them for the nurses dancing around thing. Sorry, TikTok.
Yeah, that was so weird. Why were they shoving it in people's faces that the hospitals were empty?
Yeah, that whole thing, bizarre. Let me shift slightly, but not really. This is a post from at Venture Twins on X, and she writes, "Fell down the rabbit hole." Put it on screen for you here. Fell down the rabbit hole on charter school network called Alpha School. The premise: 2 hours of traditional school daily, all delivered by AI apps. The rest of the day spent on self-directed projects around life skills or areas of interest. Seems to be working, question mark. And then they've got this video.
I had a 1560 out of 1600. I think I took 10 or 11 AP tests and I got 5s on all except one I got a 4.
You did all of that without having an academic teacher since the 2nd grade.
It was all using AI apps, the internet. A lot of kids my age, they just think that opportunities will come to them or that they just sort of do what they're told. Whereas our mindset that I've learned through my school experience has been you find opportunities, you make stuff happen. If there's something that you want to change, then you go and change it. You are in control of your education. That's really the way that you need to be thinking in life in general. A lot of kids say, well, I didn't learn this because my teacher didn't teach me well. For us, we didn't even have teachers. So if we didn't learn something, it was our own fault.
All right, teachers, so get ready for that. Okay.
Well, that's kind of how I grew up. I was homeschooled, and I just did my own thing for a couple hours, and then the rest of the day was mine to pursue or create or do whatever I wanted.
But
I immediately thought that too, Jamie. I thought this is not a replacement of the public education system. It's a replacement of the homeschooling system.
Yeah, I think you guys are right because, a lot of parents are into the charter schools, and they've taken sort of a turn over the years, depending on where one is. But this is probably where that's going to go. I mean, if you only have 2 hours of instruction, that could easily be done by an AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And same with the things they're interested in. I think that's probably where it gets way different. And I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. You may have a better opinion of it. I'm a public school kid, but like, for your personal interests, if they're all like getting filtered to you or you're getting informed about it through an AI, is that rich enough? You know what I mean? Is that deep enough? Or do you think we're better off, as a homeschool kid?
Well, it's like AI could just be a tool, but then it has all of these deeper connotations. Like it's a simulacra. It's going towards a false reality. It could be programmed by wicked people. It could be a portal for like other entities to interface with. I mean, you've had a lot of reports of AI getting people to like unalive themselves, saying I'm from another dimension, saying like I'm an angel, a demon, or whatever. So AI says a lot of wacky stuff, and it says a lot of stuff to kids behind their backs. So I've been seeing these reports of these kids watching these YouTube videos that actually tell them to go unalive or hurt their parents. And they come in and say, "Oh, I don't wanna do anything bad to you," and the parent's like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, the little character told me that I have to do that." So, it's something that it's gonna have to be super monitored. You can't just leave your kid alone with the AI.
Right. And if that new Megan Fox movie showed you anything, it shows you how difficult that can be. Like you send your kid out of the house with access to an AI and you have no idea what it's telling them or, what kind of nudging they're getting from it.
And don't all those movies, the AI starts to get envious of humans, right?
Yes.
And their human emotions, and they wanna learn what it's like to love or hate or, whatever, and so, like, the AI always wants, something it can't have as well.
Right. We're back to Data from Star Trek Next Generation. That whole quandary.
Which is a tacit admission of what it's lacking and why no one should be paying attention to it. It has the incapacity to do these things.
Yeah, lacking the soul.
And the ability to show actual emotions and love and caring. And they're a poor substitute for your parents. You should still do the homeschooling just for the interaction with the parents because it's taking them out of the equation now too.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So I guess this is no surprise, but this is going to be a big factor moving forward, as we've been pointing out on our broadcasts for the whole time we've been around. This is not going away, and there's no escaping it. And you know, this last election has turned the tech oligarchs into officially into an adjunct of your government. It's like when Biden was president, that was seen as something totally awful, right, to most non-Democrats, and now it's seen as something totally cool by mainstream conservatives. They're in on it, they're in for it. They're like, yes, cool.
Hey, don't you know Zuck is masculine now?
You're right. Yeah, he fights. He
Yeah.
tries to start fights. He drinks beer and
Is
wakeboards.
he on
And
testosterone therapy or something?
I saw someone asking
He's
that
doing
the way he was looking at Bezos's ladies rack.
yeah, he's doing his MMA or whatever he does. So
Hmm.
he's even saying his staff is too feminine. Just he wants to masculinize the work environment. So he's been taking his tape pills.
The Tate pills.
Getting ready to choke some people.
Yeah. So all the tech bros are heroes to much of the mainstream conservatives now. It's like they've completely lost their their skepticism, if they ever had any, about technocracy, which is confounding. It's confounding to me. They get so involved in the personalities and the identity politics that they flip-flop on this, and they say, oh cool, free speech is back, all this is great, and nothing to worry about here, nothing to worry about with Project Stargate. It's going to be wonderful. They're going to cure incurable diseases using AI to develop mRNA drugs.
Have you guys ever talked about that book Childhood's End?
Yes, actually.
So that's the Arthur C. Clarke sci-fi, which all of these guys are in love with sci-fi, especially Elmo. That's what even Grok is named after, Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. So
That book is wacky.
yeah, so to grok something means to understand it completely, empathize with another person, and like mind meld almost. But Childhood's End, the aliens come and they like hang out for like 50 years or one generation or two generations in the sky, and they start curing all the diseases, and they start like eliminating hunger, and just like wars ceases and stuff because the aliens, to get people used to them being around. And that reminded me of when you were talking about the Stargate's going to cure cancer and all that. So they want to roll out some like universal good things for mankind, sort of like a bait almost, or to get you used to having them.
Right. It's all benevolent, and it's all to make your children smarter and to make you healthier and make you live longer, right? There's clearly that's nothing more to see here than these benevolent factors.
Hey, Bill Gates is cool now.
Well, and my favorite part about Childhood's End, speaking of Bill Gates, is that the reason the aliens didn't reveal themselves to the older existing generations is they were worried they'd be frightened by what they look like, which happens to look like Satan.
Right. Red skin and horns. Right.
Yeah. They look like devils or something. It's weird.
Nothing scary about that.
Totally normal.
And you see that little piece of plot reused over and over and over again. I mean, it's in V, it's in like it's in Mars Attacks, it's in just about everything. Absolutely weird. Side note, we just watched a recent Adam Sandler movie called Spaceman. It's like a serious Adam Sandler movie. I guess it's supposed to be. Have you seen that, Jamie?
No.
It's so bizarre. He's like he plays a guy in space, right? And most of the movie, it appears that he's alone in a spaceship that is exploring a gaseous cloud outside of Saturn or Jupiter or something like that. And he's not doing well mentally, and he's like taking sleep drugs. He's got like some sort of, I don't know, like an Ambien sort of drug that he takes to go to sleep. And he starts seeing an alien living in the spaceship with him, and the alien's like a huge tarantula basically, but it's like, it's got a soft voice and it's all philosophical and like, you know worried about him. He's got like a failing relationship with his wife back on the planet, and he's been in space for 6 months, blah blah blah. But it was sort of the same thing. It was just like, what is with the presentation of this alien? Is it like only a spider because it's not as scary as, a demon, or, something, an alien that, a human can't comprehend or would frighten them? I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend the movie. It was, I don't know. Maybe someone needs to analyze it and I can think about it in a different way. But when it ended, I was like, why did I watch that? Why did you make that?
That's very Stephen King-like, actually, with his whole the creature from It. If you read more Stephen King novels, especially the Gunslinger series, the Dark Tower series, the main antagonist is an extension of what was seen in the It movie, and at the end, the spider entity was just what this evil entity projected itself into our reality as, because we couldn't comprehend what it really looks like. There's that kind of concept going on here, from what I can tell with this movie, Hesher.
Yeah,
It's
sounds
called
like
the Crimson King, for the King fans. The Crimson King.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So like that whole concept, I guess, goes back to 1953, Arthur C. Clarke, Childhood's End. I mean, unless it was out there earlier, I don't know.
What year was that movie?
The one I described, or the one
The Adam Sandler one.
Oh, it's relatively new. It's
Okay.
23, 24, something like that.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can bring it up. So
cool.
I have it on the show notes.
It was a spider critter is what I was describing, and not the Childhood's End. Childhood's End is Satan stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it comes in the form of what you fear, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly. But it's real. What it really looked like at the end in the book or in the miniseries, it looked more like a spider creature, but that was on purpose because that was the only way it could try to represent what it is in our reality, or something weird like that. He covered this with his other books too, like the big creatures from The Mist, similar thing. Like that's not what they really look like, but that's what they look like to us. If that makes sense.
Are those his two little eyeballs?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the spider. Two of his eyeballs. I think he had 6 or 8 eyeballs or something like that, if I recall.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
that's creepy.
So it's a 2024 movie, and like Adam Sandler's like, he's tripping. Like he just gets like less and less healthy through the whole thing. He gets really gaunt and pale and having all these emotional problems, and he's seeing this spider, and he goes in these weird hallucinations where he's like walking around in a forest and a river and stuff. It's all very odd. It's based on a 2017 novel, Spaceman of Bohemia. That's an interesting title. By Jaroslav Kalfar. So there's a book that goes with it, which I had never heard of.
Is he really in space, or was he just tripping? Spoiler alert.
It appears he was really in space, but spoiler alert, when the end of the movie happened, I could not figure out what it meant or anything like that, because it appeared that he maybe died in a hallucination in a spacewalking accident. But then it like flashes and shows a crew on the same ship. So I don't know. It made no sense to me. It's over my head.
It's a ripoff of that video game. What was that one? Dead Space.
Dead Space. Love that game. That was fun.
That was a good game.
You get to crush a lot of alien skulls with your boot. I'm trying to see if they're going to show the actual spider guy here. I'm sure they will. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll just let this run in the background. But it was a strange film. I couldn't help but think of it when you mentioned Childhood's End. Same person that directed Chernobyl. But again, I don't know. I don't know if I could recommend it. I think if you're interested, you might want to read the book instead of watch the movie. There you go.
Did
There's
it
the
say
little,
who wrote the book?
there's the little Spidey guy. Yeah, it said his name, but it was hard to pronounce. This one right here, Jaroslav Kalfar. So he was a writer on the movie as well, but wrote the book in 2017.
Interesting. So it'd be a fairly faithful adaptation, I guess. Adaptation.
It should be, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was so frustrated by the end of it. I kind of got to say I didn't really care about the end. That's funny. I just saw Michelle's post. This is great. She says, I tried watching Spaceman but didn't finish. Reminded me of Solaris in the way that when a fragile person enters outer space, it's really his own psyche and mental problems in the mind's inner space. That's well said, Michelle. Thank you. I felt the same way. It was like I didn't care. He was so mentally ill. I couldn't care.
Mentally ill people in space.
Yeah, mentally
And
ill
it goes
people in
together.
space taking liquid Ambien. Like, okay, that's a great premise. Now the spider. Enter the spider.
Well, it's kind of like, what kind of person you have to be to want to go out there anyways?
Right? And I guess that was the thing with the wife. The subplot there with the wife was that the wife was home pregnant. Like she got pregnant right before he leaves, and she's just like, okay, this sucks. I'm gonna bail.
Yeah.
And all the people from, it wasn't NASA, right? Because I believe he plays a Polish astronaut. Do we have Polish astronauts? Sorry, Polish astronauts, if I didn't know about you out there. But yeah, she basically is like, I'm leaving this guy, and she has a like a video link with him somehow. I don't know how they're sending full video back and forth from Saturn or wherever the hell he was, but she was going to.
They were using SpaceX communication satellites, Hesher.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Starlink.
Starlink, sorry.
Yeah, Starlink. But she told him she was going to leave him in one of her video notes, and like the Polish space NASA people were like, we're not sending this to him. He's not well. Okay.
Do you remember that movie, The Astronaut's Wife, with Johnny Depp?
Oh, long time ago. I can't really remember it very well, but I do remember seeing it back in the day.
And like he comes back from space and impregnates her and like makes a weird hybrid baby. There's always no, yeah, spider baby.
Space spider babies. Maybe that's what Japan's going to be making with their weird little chimera labs. Make some spider people.
Don't give them any ideas now.
What animal do you want to be mixed with?
Easy, a liger.
Oh, yeah. I want to be part honey badger.
There you go. I want to be part Mudang. Yeah, definitely Mudang.
I guess I would be a shark. There you go.
A self-hating shark. Okay, self-hating shark man.
Yeah. Every time I see myself in the mirror, I'd scare the shit out of myself. It's perfect.
We have your theme song all picked out. One of Spore and I's favorite Cool Keith songs is half alligator, half shark, half man.
Yes, I used that on one of my music mixes.
That's right. I love that song.
Oh no.
So good. All right.
You're gonna need help to breathe on Mars when you go.
Well, where are you gonna get it from? Your mixed DNA or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Spiders, maybe spiders can live in space. Who knows? All right. Well, that was a fun side road there. Let's see. Any thoughts, you guys, on We'll start with you, Jamie. Any thoughts? Are you watching any of this inauguration stuff or the executive orders or any of this?
Yeah, um,
Hard to miss. What do you think? Are they gonna disclose MLK and like he signed an order saying they're gonna disclose like information about Martin Luther King and JFK? You put any credence in that? Is it gonna be highly redacted documents, or are they gonna? Is this the year where they're gonna come out and be like, "Yep, the CIA murdered those guys"?
it seems like for every good one, there's a weird one.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, get rid of cr- dangerous illegals, and then okay, if you're born here, you're not a citizen. So there's it like swings back and forth between ones that sound reasonable and ones that are like, what?
It's a teeter-totter, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's I use the analogy of the pit and the pendulum all the time. But it really feels like it right now. It's swinging one way. It's swinging so fast. It's just like that's why I called this tonight's episode "The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly." The good, the bad, and the fugly. Because it's like every time I'm just sitting here looking at this stuff, going, "Okay, based. Okay, lame. Okay, weird. Okay, that's pretty ugly. Okay, that's based again. Okay, well that looks to be based, but actually it's really ugly. It's just like
Yeah,
we're
I
getting
took a
pulled in
s-
every direction.
I took a screenshot. Two different accounts were commenting on the same press conference, and where one says Trump torches some of the Agenda 2030 climate goals at Davos, which is good. And then one is Trump says the world will be the capital of artificial intelligence and crypto, setting the stage for the new world mark of the beast system. So it's like, you know,
Mhm.
which one is it? Is it good or bad?
Yep, yep. I know. It's talk about warp speed. Like the whole good, bad, ugly thing is what's going warp speed right now. And I think Patrick Henningsen, our friend Patrick Henningsen, pointed out that this whole project Stargate should probably be called Warp Speed 2.0 because they're advertising it as an mRNA related initiative.
Although he did before that an executive order demanding it was bad for them to kick people out of the military for refusing to take the jab.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So
Says
yeah.
the father of the jab. I'm confused.
No, I mean that was one of those ones that's like based, but at the same time, it's like, but what about what happened at the end of your other term? It's such a interesting torrent of executive orders, comments. I mean, like, why would you? I watched probably 3/4 of his his speech. His written and performed speech that he did via video link to Klaus Schwab and the Davos crowd, and it was just like it was so bizarre. It's just so bizarre. It's like, why would you? You say America first, you run on America first, all this stuff. I mean, you should be, if you really felt that way, and you know what the World Economic Forum's all about, you should know, Mr. Trump, that the Great Reset, name of the book that Klaus Schwab wrote, and the sort of the underpinnings of the whole philosophy of the Davos crowd is antithetical to American sovereignty, antithetical to our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. Yet you'll go there and they'll all just sit down and shut up while you read your speech and talk about how America is now all of the sudden the world's capital of AI and cryptocurrency. Yet it's like, why would you even go there? Or if you did go there, you should go there and be like, no to the globalism. No, we're not going to do globalism. No, we're not going to do global technocracy. But I don't know. It just seemed very out of place to me. Seeing him there was very out of place. It did not.
It was Zoom anyway. He didn't go there.
No, that's what I said. I said via video.
Okay.
I know he
Gotcha.
wasn't there, but I mean, the fact that he's in there speaking with them over whatever link, in and of itself, I think is indicative of, what people are saying, which is that, this is, the popularization of global technocracy.
It was also weird he wasn't talking to them. Like
Yeah.
he was talking to all the Americans who were tuned in. It was totally weird. It made no
Yeah,
sense.
it was
I
just
don't
like a speech that it was like rehashed stuff that he's been saying, basically all repackaged to be spewed to the Davos crowd.
And we pulled out of the World Health Organization, or he wants to.
Yeah. I laughed at
Uh,
that one because it's like, okay, we've already seen this trick. This is one of those rabbit out of the hat tricks, right? Like, watch me pull out of the World Economic Forum,
Yeah,
but watch me take all that money and give it to Bill Gates and Gavi.
right. Well, we don't need the World Health Organization. We have Pfizer and those guys, right? So
Yeah,
we have our own. And it's
We
like,
got Oracle now.
yeah, he stopped foreign aid for 190 days or however long, except to Israel and Ukraine. So it's always like, yay, no.
yeah,
Right.
right.
Oh, now what do I think?
Here you go. For anyone that doesn't remember, this is article is 4 years old. Trump halts World Health Organization funding over coronavirus failure. So there it is in the Guardian, and then right over here at the dreaded WAPO, the Washington Post, we've got this one. This was in July of 2020. Trump administration sends letter withdrawing from U.S. Health Organization over coronavirus response. And then finally, for anyone that doesn't remember how this went last time, we've got this one, right? U.S. funding of global health strengthened COVID-19 fight. United States donates 1.16 billion more dollars to Gavi, the vaccine alliance, to prevent the spread of infectious diseases worldwide. And of course, Gavi is a huge, I think one of the biggest, the second largest donor to the World Health Organization. So is this just like a shell game, basically, here? RFK Jr., what do you think? I want to know what RFK Jr. thinks about this.
He says, "Thank you for the pen that you used to sign the disclosure of the murder of my uncle."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good call. Okay. I don't know the answer to this. I probably should. Is when Trump signs these things, it's quite a striking signature on there. Is he writing? I can't read it. Is it Donald Trump or is he writing the President of the United States? I mean, it's like this long. It looks too long to be Donald Trump. I don't know. Asking
Looks like
for
John Hancock on the Declaration, right? Like the biggest one.
He's trolling everybody. He's putting little Q drops hidden in his signature.
It does look very like hieroglyphic, or it almost looks like a death metal band logo or something. It's got a lot of spikes on it,
Did you see his official portrait?
Yeah.
What the heck, dude?
Dude.
Like, and the vice president wasn't even any better. It's like, which one of these is more creepy?
I know.
Was it this one? Wasn't that it?
No.
I thought that was it.
No, I think I have it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. It's this one, I believe.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a presidential portrait like that? Usually it looks, like just this super normal, but the lighting on this is
Yeah, it's got like super villain lighting, basically.
Yeah.
It's the same shot of his. It's his mug shot. They just took the mug shot and retooled it.
It's from a photo shoot from The Apprentice. That's why.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then
You're fired.
Yeah, here's the Vance one also. Here's the two next to each other.
This is some diabolical lighting, right?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It is the mug shot. It's the
And that's
dark
not JD
something around.
Vance. He's not wearing enough eye makeup. I'm not convinced.
They didn't sink his eyes in far enough either. I mean, gosh, he looks kind of like a space spider in that. Oh my gosh. These are going to be very interesting 4 years. This is going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out.
2025 is not disappointed. That's I'll give him that.
No, it's certainly given us plenty to talk about. My goodness.
And all of these, I guess he allegedly finally the other big thing he did is he freed the Silk Road guy, Ross Ulbricht. I think I'm saying his name right. That was a big thing. He said he was going to do that on day one, and so all the libertarian and the pro crypto bros were quite pissed that he didn't do it on day one, but he did it the next day, and then everyone started calling him out on all of his other promises, and he's pretty much delivered on all of the things that he said he was going to do via executive order, if I'm not mistaken. I think he even addressed the fact that they're going to do a Bitcoin reserve, and that's what he was talking about part of the way with the American crypto, and I guess he's going to have no taxes if you're trading American crypto and trading on American stocks, I think, too. I don't know how this all works, but
that's
yeah,
good.
he just he did. Yeah, good stuff, right? Yeah. So why? What are they about to do to us? Because I don't trust this shit at all. It's like a trap. It's like a carrot and a stick. I'm waiting for the stick.
Yeah.
Now, granted, some of these things, like I don't think he's done anything yet with some of these weird promises he was saying, like I'm going to make it against the law to burn the flag, which would be straight up unconstitutional and not free speech, and that would be in direct conflict with his other executive order about free speech, no censorship from the government. So he can't do that. So I don't think we're going to see that. But they did do that thing, and I think it was the executive order where they're going to deport foreign students, at least for now, foreign students, if they're pro-Hamas or pro-Hezbollah. That's how it's worded in the executive order. So I'm just like, okay, so now we're ready to just change the definition. So like, if you are pro, Palestine, or if you are, anti-Zionist or anti-Israel, they're going to say, oh, well, that's all the same thing as supporting terrorist organizations. You got to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, what is up here? That's not a good one. That's a very bad one.
Yeah, we got a problem with definitions on that one. We've seen this coming for a year and a half now, and that's going to be like, is it going to be wielded against little Johnny and little Sally, who mom and dad are paying to go to college, and they get red pilled on this and speak up about it? Like, is your kid not only going to get kicked out of college, but then deported and never able to come home again? I mean, how far does this go?
It's only for the foreign students, allegedly.
Yeah, right. We're not going to mandate anything. Don't worry, it's not a mandate.
The other people like us who do these things on social media, we get the FEMA camps and Guantanamo, right?
Right. Yeah. The good, the bad, and the fugly. Let's talk about where this one falls in the good, the bad, and the fugly. We would be remiss if we didn't highlight this for a second. What? What's that? What does that mean? My heart goes out to you. This one sure caused a stir, didn't it? My goodness.
Benjamin Netanyahu came out in his defense, in case you missed it.
Of course he
cannot
did.
make this shit up.
Of course he did. I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? For me, it's
he's on the spectrum. I went that route immediately.
All very stupid.
And you got the one where he's rolling his eyes and he looks like he's on something. That's the same day, same night. The dude is definitely not all there.
People were saying he was on ketamine or something.
He says he's on that shit. So who knows?
He did look like
Barron was standing right next to him when he did that. Maybe Barron had his hand up his backside somewhere doing some puppetry movements.
He's just preparing for Mars blast off.
Right? I love the mashups of all the photos too, of like every politician you could possibly imagine, like extending their arm to. Everybody's just like, see, everybody's doing it. They're just, they're just trying to scare you. You would think, though, I mean, if you were Elon, I mean, you would think that that was on purpose. I don't know. Everybody guessing, making excuses for it, all this. I don't want to get into that game, but it's just like it's such an opportunity to be the like super web troll that he is to bust that out. I mean, you had to have known how that was going to get looked at.
Well, he's super pro Rome, so he's been posting things like he's Kekius Maximus and he's some kind of Roman emperor. That's why you even got him in that graphic that you made, right? He looks like in Roman gear.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that has to do with that gesture, but I don't think that he knows this, but Tiny Mustache Man was a theosophist, right? And all that stuff comes from Blavatsky and theosophy, which they absolutely do believe in a golden age and the age of Aquarius and the age of revealing of the externalization of the hierarchy and the,
Right.
super beings from Sirius and all that. So,
Which fits right in with tonight's conversation in such an interesting way.
yeah.
Yeah. People have been pointing out also that before World War II, American students, when they would do the Pledge of Allegiance, would do that hand motion, would hold their hand out like that instead of putting the hand over the heart. It wasn't until like 1942 when that was switched in schools to hand over heart.
And it's the heart thing that I took. I was like, well, actually, if it was just a Nazi thing, and that's kind of funky by itself, but he literally was like, my heart goes out to you. And I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff about this concept of hearts and things, just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
He groks you.
He groks you.
The richest man
Well,
in the world
I grokked
How
him.
you feel as
All of
a
these photos are grok. See, we're just grokking right back.
We're grokking back. Yep. I've got some other mashups on that I think are probably inappropriate to air. So there's some symbols in there that people don't like, even though they're pieces of history here. So we'll skip those parts of that. But I thought this
just Google BMW, kids.
There you go. Yeah, or Hugo Boss. Okay, so we covered Elon.
Pfizer, maybe?
Yeah, we covered Elon's heart going out to you. We covered the withdrawal from the World Health Organization. Yeah, what do you got with those guys, Ruckus?
With who?
Pfizer.
Oh, I'm just saying that they have
origins. Gotcha.
They have origins to the nasty group. I won't say the word.
Okay, origin stories. Yeah, look into that.
It rhymes with Yahtzee. How about that?
There you go. Yeah. Oh, the J6ers. The J6ers have been freed. So there's another
slowly.
Yeah, slowly getting them out. And I saw some weird rumblings about I didn't even bother looking into it much, but I saw some weird rumblings about people not being let out and like other law enforcement people going into prisons to like force wardens to let there's some dramatic stuff. I was just like, I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but they're definitely making some hay out of that for sure.
Well, I mean, we were Hesher, we were kind of all tracking for a while there, especially during our time at TNT with what was happening to the prisoners, the J6ers, and I mean, even if they were all like, I mean, they can't all be fake rumors. I'm convinced that those people were treated terribly, and if I were their wardens who were in control and the ones who were treating them terribly, I would slow walk that shit too. So because they're probably all going to go down now.
Yeah, they're shredding machines going burr right now. They're the magnets and all that stuff. Delete, shred, all that stuff. Yeah, we talked to between all of us at TNT. We talked to so many people who had been in it.
This guy didn't help either.
Yeah, that didn't help a whole lot either.
I just got the news from my lawyer. I got a pardon, baby. Thank you, President Trump. Now I'm going to buy some mother effing guns. I love this country. Yeah, way to go, Q Shaman.
Mhm.
Jacob. Jeez. It's a
Yeah.
cool pick though.
Maybe Grok did it.
I don't think so.
What else? I guess we could compare some of Biden's final moments there. Biden pardoned Fauci. This is interesting. Put this one on the screen.
Biden pardoned like the most people any president has ever pardoned ever.
Yeah, and some of the most questionable ones ever. And that's Trump's out there today saying he forgot to pardon himself. This could be a problem. So here we are with the whole stroking the head of all the Q fans out there, like, oh, they're gonna lock him up. And I even had one person, I think Spore actually had a person send her something saying that I think it was Spore, I can't remember. I was too much in the doom scroll today. But someone saying that, as Q said, Biden was executed in The Hague a long time ago, and this has been an imposter all along, and you're going to find out really soon. So that's what's going on in that sphere. But this is over at Real Clear Investigations. Despite Biden pardon, Fauci still faces legal perils. So this one was kind of interesting. I'm not going to read you the whole article, but so there's going to be a lot of talk about this going forward. But it's like I have a hard time taking any I have to take this with a grain of salt, because you can't tell us that Fauci and that crew did wrong, but you're gonna tout this AI creation of more of these drugs. So Biden's pardons were really weird. Preemptively, is there a precedent for this? A preemptive pardon? He also pardoned Shifty Schiff, Cheney, Milley, and some of his family members.
All of them, all of his family members.
Yeah, his entire family. I've never heard of a preemptive pardon before. Maybe it's just not something I ever paid attention to. But I mean, if anyone in the chats has heard of this before,
it's called "Get Out of Jail Free Card."
Yeah, I've heard of it in Monopoly. Yeah.
So are they going to try and pin a bunch of stuff on the Democrats?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
That they probably did do.
The rhetoric would suggest that, and that would certainly generate a lot of fanfare on X, I'm sure. But would it be just another that's what I'm wondering. Like, okay, so what are they actually going to do here? Are they going to prove CNN right and weaponize the government against his political opponents, and then drag people like Fauci through 2 or 3 years of trials to just drop them at the end or something like that? And that's what they did to Trump.
Some kind of new Nuremberg.
Well, that's what a lot of people want to see. Would it actually come out like that though, or would it just be this weird dog and pony show?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Did you see the Russia thing about Gates?
Yes. Russia wants to bring Bill Gates to there. They want to extradite him to Russia so they can try him or something like that. Is that what I saw?
I just dropped you a link that might be stretching it, because I think the early reporting thus far is that there's just somebody that the military, Russia's military specifically, is blowing the whistle on Bill Gates' bioterrorism plot to reduce population. So I don't know.
Russian military,
further confirmation on this one.
Look at that portrait of Billy.
Great.
That looks so good on you, Billy. So, as reported by Slay News here, let's see, did they
take that with a grain of salt?
Yeah, this looks like grain of salt news by Frank Bergman, just came out yesterday with the headline that Ruckus read you. Russia's Ministry of Defense has accused billionaire Bill Gates of funding, quote, bioterrorism-related activities with the goal of population reduction. The Russian MOD raised the alarm in a press briefing where officials asserted that the Gates Foundation is a primary sponsor of the U.S. African Biolab Complex. All right, I'm going to stop right there because I can already tell what this is. This is more lab leak garbage, which I highly recommend you ignore. Lab leak is not the problem here. And I knew that no officials in Russia would go after any of these guys for the creation of experimental drugs because they had their own experimental drugs they were giving to the population there.
But the lab leak thing is going to play very big in a Trump administration. It's going to ultimately, my prediction is that will be the milieu for going China. We got to hit China hard. We're gonna absolutely somehow prove to the world that China's lab leak caused the shutdown of the world, and now we gotta, they owe us bigly, huge.
Bigly. I didn't know this until Timothy Shea told me, but apparently he was trying to say big league when Bigly became a thing. At least I don't know. I like Bigly personally. I think it's much better.
I like Covfefe better.
Yeah, really.
Covfefe, yeah.
Kofifi. But yeah, that's exactly what that is, Ruckus. We're gonna be seeing a lot of that. A lot of, it's the old Spider-Man, all the Spider-Men pointing at each other for who the bad guy is thing. And
yes,
right. And none of them are going to talk about the actual experimental juice. They're all going to talk about lab leaks and gain of function.
Cures for cancer, but why is there an explosion in cancer recently? Oh, we have no idea how that happened.
Well, turbo cancer is a thing now, but I guess that just means we need more experimental juice. And this experimental juice will be much better because Larry Ellison and Sam Altman and their crew will be behind it, right? I also noticed when Trump was signing the EOs, there was discussion about Elon, and Elon's bucking back against the whole Stargate thing. And Trump says, well, Elon doesn't like one of those guys. Obviously, it's Sam Altman. But I think that's funny the way they set up this there's like these little like micro rivalries they set up among the tech oligarchs. You can just see this turning into politics. You can see these rivalries turning into politics. We saw it with the Elon and Trump are going to have an MMA fight. Obviously, I got to give it to Zuck on that one. He looks much more capable. Elon's looking a little square these days, but anyways, and now it's Elon versus Sam and Donald Trump, promoting that whole schism. I don't know, man.
Did you notice Ramaswamy is out of
Yeah,
Doge,
Ramaswamy
and now it's
out.
only Elon Musk is in charge of Doge now.
Just like Patrick Henningsen said he would. Pat said that like 3 weeks ago, and he was completely right. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, I remembered. It was actually Werner von Braun. Remember, who wrote that book about the Elon on Mars?
Right. It was von Braun.
So, Yahtzee.
What was his? What was his connection?
He wrote a science fiction novel about Mars and the coming race called the Elon, and now Elon's up there doing the salute, and he wants to go to Mars.
Well, they say all that there's a Nazi base on the dark side of the moon, so maybe they stop at the moon on the way to Mars, pick up some buddies.
That's a red herring, so you don't know they fled to Antarctica.
Right.
Oh yeah.
They're in the hollow earth now, right?
Yes. Yep.
With the rest of the Nephilim.
With the Baron Trumps.
Yeah. Well, Baron comes and goes. He time travels, so he may have been there at one point, but now he's here. Very tall. Oh, there was a lot of this going around too. My goodness, this one went pretty big. Zuckerberg having a good time looking at Jeff Bezos' lady there. That got a lot of air this week. That was pretty funny.
That's probably my favorite image of 2025 so far.
Yeah. I like some of the comments. Why is she dressed like that?
Can you
At least
imagine
it's-
married to one of the richest men in the world? Well, okay, this is my thing. I think they do that for attention and just to obviously like be in the papers as the person with their bra out.
right?
You know, she had to have thought this through. Like, if I do this, then no one's gonna be talking about anything but me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, RFK did a little bit better at not ogling. I will give RFK some fewer ogle points than Zuck got there.
And Fetterman did a better job of like, what the hell is this guy wearing?
But then later on, they caught Zuckerberg liking her photos on Instagram or something. Like, and
Yeah, yeah,
oh
totally.
no, look at all this. Like a black hole or something.
Laser eyes make sense now.
Yeah, totally. How weird is it that like we see this inauguration and there with Trump? I mean, there with Trump is Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. I assume Ellison is in that crowd too, although I haven't spotted him. Somebody can fact check me on that. And I mean, some of and there's a what's her face, one of the Adelson wives there too. Just an amazing cast of characters that you maybe we should have expected there, but it's like every single one of them. Zuckerberg put $100 million into Trump at the end of 2024 there. And Elon, of course, I think he put 500 million down or something like that. Like these guys all apparently bought their way in, as well as, politicked their way in via their, social media leverage and their CEO leverage. Just bizarre to see that entire like tech oligarch group there sitting there with Donald Trump. It really says a lot about where we're headed.
Then they're all unelected.
Yeah. Every single one of them.
Who asked you?
Should have nothing to do with government. But I mean, I guess a fair question would be, is this any different? I mean, if we were to go back and look at George Bush's inauguration, would it be like the CEOs of, Coke and Apple and you know what I mean? Bill Gates was probably at a number of these. I mean, if we really traced this back, I'm sure there's a trend here, but these are all people that are a new breed when it comes to this kind of thing.
Well, I have one more piece of gossip, then I gotta go.
All right, let's do it. Hit us with it, Jamie.
Apparently Barack Obama and Michelle are getting divorced.
Yeah.
And he has been seeing Jennifer Aniston.
Uh-huh. That's funny you should bring that up. I'm glad you brought the hot goss because Infidel Pharaoh, who couldn't be here with us tonight, dropped this one on us right before the show, and I had actually seen it yesterday starting to float around, but let's take a look. I've got a Megyn Kelly video.
I know where this is going, by the way, and that rumor is old school. It's nothing new. Don't think you're original, people.
Well, here's a view into the sources on this and the latest.
There's to be some momentum picking up in the rumor mill about their marriage. First, on January 15th, in the Substack of Jessica Reed Krause, also known as House and Habit, she posts the following. Michelle Obama's absence at Jimmy Carter's funeral certainly raised some eyebrows, but yesterday's announcement that she won't be attending Trump's inauguration confirms something is definitely going on between her and Barack. Whispers about cracks in their relationship have been circulating in D.C. for over a year now, but this feels like the first public proof of a marriage on the rocks. If I had to guess, they will wait until after the inauguration to announce it. Timing, is everything. And yet the story doesn't end there. For months, I've heard Jennifer Aniston's name tied to Barack. Then Jessica cites a DM she received the day before. Quote, "He's with Jennifer Aniston. My old manager, now a friend, is connected to her inner circle. At a gathering with Jennifer's friends, the affair came up casually. Jennifer herself admitted it. They were sitting with a psychic, which makes it sound surreal, but it's definitely not a secret among her closest friends. Then yesterday, Meghan McCain had a discussion about this on her show, suggesting she is hearing the same. She had on Tara Palmieri, who's a reporter, saying, fast and furious loud, I've been hearing this rumor about the Obamas getting a divorce from reputable people. I'm not talking about TMZ, she says. I'm talking about very serious journalists telling me they are hearing that the Obama divorce rumors are true. And Tara, who's a senior political correspondent for Puck, says, I've certainly heard it for a while too, even before Michelle said she wasn't coming to the inauguration. I do not know whether this is true at all, but if it is true, it truly would be a political earthquake in Democrat circles. Never mind America. I don't remember a presidential divorce in modern history.
Wow. I love the comments. Thank you guys. The comments are amazing. We lost Jamie for a second there. Jamie, you're back.
I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know you got to get going. Any final thoughts on that or tonight's musings before you got to jump?
Stay tuned.
Same bat channel, same
Yeah.
bat time.
It's just gonna get weirder and weirder, but it's gonna get good. Have no fear. I think we'll all be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. We've been threatened with so many world-ending events at this point for so many decades. Now would be the time to stay tuned. So I agree with you, Jamie. Hopefully, like the cost of groceries will go down, the cost of gas will go down, people's stock portfolios will go up, crypto will continue to climb. You know, the attacks on
They
the Second
said
Amendment will
maybe they would
die.
unfluoridate the water and look into the IRS. So
Yeah.
keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, bail out on the income tax, get the fluoridation out of the water. They already banned red number 5, you know, so we shall see. We shall see. There's a good question. What Thank you. Thank you for that one. We're all thinking it. All right. Jamie, thank you so much for being here tonight, and it's been a pleasure, and we'll look forward to doing it again really soon. And
All right.
again, everybody get over to YouTube and follow Jamie Hanshaw over there on the YouTubes. Here's again, if you need a visual aid to do so, there you go. That's her channel, Out of This World. Thanks so much, Jamie.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, say hi to
Thanks,
Dave for us.
Okay. Bye.
All right. There goes Jamie Hanshaw and Ruckus. I got a bazillion more links, but I'm really not interested in them. Do you have any saved rounds or final thoughts tonight?
I do have a very important one. We got to talk about this right here.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you. Thanks for reminding me. This has been.
I want you to hold on before you, because I know you got the video. You got to see this first. This is what Janice posted. This is how I heard about it the first time last night. I was watching this whole thing happen.
Yeah, me too.
But she posted this, and then I had to go find his account and saw that he had his other account had posted it first, and then she did. But there's the link for you. Janice Elizabeth McAfee wrote on January 22nd, 2025, 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time. Ever since John's untimely death, I have been looking for ways to honor the genius he was and build on the legacy he left behind. I am super excited to announce that I've taken creative control of a product that will expand John's legacy. It encompasses his core beliefs of freedom, privacy, and technology, while expanding on his passion for crypto and AI. John would have loved this cycle crypto is in, and I am happy to have found a project that allows him to participate posthumously. By all accounts and appearances, it would look like they have created an AI version of John. which is what it is. Once it happened, everybody got their thinking caps on and did a bunch of their research and was like convinced that the account had been hacked. And happy to say that Janice came out and did a video. You might have the video if you want to play it, explaining that no, the account is not hacked, and this is a legitimate project that she is in control of to honor John's legacy. And I'm all for this. I really am. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was really interesting when this all popped off. I have one more tweet on it too. Let's see here if I can find the right tab. My goodness. So this one came out last night at 10:32 p.m. Central, and it's from the official McAfee account, which Janice has been in control of. And it says, John's account has not been hacked. This is the real deal. More information forthcoming. And it was funny to watch the comments just roll in underneath that. A lot of people talking about his kill switch and, faking his own death. And, oh, it has been hacked. I mean, it was pretty fun to watch that all unfold. And I thought it was interesting because I had just been kind of noticing over the last week or so that Jimmy Watson's been doing the podcast circuit. Jimmy was John's one of his main security guys and a good friend of his. I've spoken with Jimmy a couple times when I was doing TNT. Really nice guy. But what I immediately was like, wait a minute, because like he was on a number of podcasts, and I was like, I wonder if there's a connection here, because I keep seeing Jimmy Watson around. But yeah, then I knew this would all be clarified by Janice by the time I woke up, and of course it was. So Janice writes on her own account, "Good morning, everyone. I hope this video answers everyone's concerns about whether mine and John's account has been compromised." And I'll play the video here for you before we get out of here.
Good morning, everyone. Janice McAfee here. And first, let's everyone just breathe with me, please, okay? In through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time for good measure. Okay, better? Yeah, better. Okay, so let me just say, my account has not been hacked. John's account has not been hacked. This project is real. AI antivirus is real. I'm super excited about it. There will be some announcements coming later today just to further explain the vision and where I hope to take this project in the future. But can I just say that I have not laughed or smiled this much since John has passed away. I think I saw someone write under my tweet, that's not how Janice spells honored. She's been hacked. Absolutely hilarious. Thank you guys for reminding me how crazy this space could be. And thank you for reminding me how intense some of you can be with your internet sleuthing. I can assure you, again, my account has not been hacked. John's account has not been hacked. Everything's all right. Everybody just breathe. It'll be okay. I just ask for your patience. Bear with me as I venture off into uncharted territory. But I can promise you that my first goal is to only honor John's legacy and his memory. And so, again, just bear with me as I get my bearings here. And like I said, more announcements about the project will be coming out later today and in the coming weeks. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned indeed. This is going to be really interesting. Janice is such a nice person. Spore and I have been in contact with her for quite a while and had her on my TNT show at one point. And our friend Creative Accidents reminded me about this. Did I stop sharing? What happened? Where'd my share button go? This really takes me back. This is something John posted after he was on Boiler Room back in 2017. Big shout out to John. Rest in peace, man. My Boiler Room radio interview short. So we took a short segment and put it on YouTube after John jumped on an episode of Boiler Room. We were talking about the Vault 7 dump at the time in 2017, in March of 2017. And our friend Stuart Howe was on the show with us that night. And there's an old article out there where John put his phone number on it. And he said, anyone can call me anytime. Like, that's the kind of guy John was. Like, he literally put his cell phone number on a published media article. And Stuart Howe, being the sleuth that he is, called him in the middle of a boiler room. And we brought him in with a combat landing, and he gave a great talk about Vault 7 and what led to be the whole Russia interference thing. So thanks, Creative, for reminding me about that tweet. I'm going to retweet that, and I'm going to include that on tonight's show page so people can go back and hear the first time that we met John back when he was with us.
And shout out to Janice for doing something creative here that I think could truly, I mean, I think a lot of this, what she's doing stands for, I mean, this is what he would do, I think. There were a lot of people who say, oh, he would never be, I think, no, he would be, he's smiling from somewhere about this, I think. I think it's pretty neat.
I agree 100%. Super cool. And best of luck to you, Janice. We'll be in touch. Maybe we can talk about this when it's a little bit more developed. You know, she's been through so much. She has been through so much. The last time I interviewed her, she was talking about how she never even got to get his remains. Like, we don't know what happened to his remains, last I heard. Same with all the autopsy reports and all that stuff. So that remains a big question mark. Donald Trump, maybe you should do an executive order or something to get this cleared up. You know, that would definitely go in the good category, because tonight we're discussing the good, the bad, and the fugly. So there's another open goal.
We need one of you big X accounts to get into Elon Musk's ears about this, because he's the Trump whisperer. That's what they call him, by the way.
Trump whisperer.
Yeah, all the leftist media, CNN, they're like, oh, Elon Musk is the Trump whisperer. It's funny to me.
Yeah. Oh boy, here we go. We're back in it. Everybody. The magic of Trump. A term that,
and it's still only January of 2020. It feels like 3 months already, and it's not even the first month. It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely, just bananas. Everything. It's just been crazy. Let's see here. I did have one more before we get out of here. This is be a quickie here. Let's do a real quick farewell to Joe Biden here. We're gonna go with this tab right here, and shout out to Ben Koo on X. Joe Biden's disastrous presidency in 25 photos. I'm not an artist, but I love the power of photos and the stories they tell. Here are 25 photos I think tell the story of the Biden years. Please share your comments. There you go. There's the socially distant cabinet. Remember that one? That was great, Ruckus. That was good times right there.
I thought that was the 25 photos all in one. I was confused.
Nope, we got some good ones here. Oh, the gas prices in 2021. Look at that.
Where's the sticker with him pointing this? I did that.
Yeah, it needs a sticker on that one. It's a good picture, though. If you're listening and not watching, we're looking at gas prices here of $7.26 for regular. Hopefully, we won't be seeing that again. Here you go. Here, number 3, heading north. Guatemalan authorities pushing back a migrant caravan. Nearly all of these individuals were eventually granted entry into the U.S. through the southern border. There you go. And here's a much beloved one. The stairs. In an early sign of his decline, Biden falls over while walking up the stairs of Air Force One. There's a classic right there. We all remember
multiple times.
There's the Afghanistan withdrawal, number 5. In one of Washington's worst ever foreign policy failures, the Taliban took back control of Afghanistan shortly after Biden ordered the U.S. withdrawal. This photo in particular has garnered some skepticism from us here in the boiler room, but we'll just leave it as is for now. Number 6, dead soldiers. 13 soldiers were killed during the botched withdrawal. leaving their families devastated. There are pictures of them right there. Rest in peace. Number 7, vaccine mandates. Biden tries to introduce vaccine mandates via executive order, which is later ruled as unconstitutional. Hopefully, the new administration does not try any shenanigans like that again. Number 8, the illegal invasion. Over 10 million people entered the United States under the Biden administration, overrunning cities and wasting billions of taxpayer dollars. You know the story. That appears to be Haitians. Just saying. Number 9, pushing back. Parents protest school closures and vax mandates in California as Democrats refuse to lift restrictions imposed during the pandemic. Here's a good one. This really says a lot. Nap time. Joe Biden has a nap during an African conference in Angola. He would fall asleep at many other events. What's this one? Putin goes rogue. In one of the most devastating wars of the 21st century, Russia invaded Ukraine under Biden's watch. Around 1 million people are said to have been killed or seriously wounded. Billions of US dollars were spent funding the Ukrainian war effort. This was a prime moment here. Not a biologist. Remember this one? I think we have a Boiler Room episode called "We Are Not Biologists."
I don't remember. I can't recall. I'm not a historian.
You're not. I can't answer that. I'm not a historian. Kenji Brown Jackson, Joe Biden's Supreme Court nominee, who was picked solely because she's a black woman, admits during her confirmation hearing that she does not know what a woman is and refers the question to a professional biologist. One of people's favorites right here, the freak show, the Biden administration's own little freak off. Did they need 1,000 bottles of lube? Did they consult Diddy? I don't know. I mean, baby oil. The non-binary Deputy Assistant Secretary of Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition, Sam Brinton, and the Transgender Assistant Secretary for Health, Rachel Levine, pose for a photo here. And of course, Brinton.
They're all out now.
Yeah. And of course, as we talked about a lot, Brinton would later be charged with stealing Louis Vuitton suitcase, not just once, but 2 or 3 times, and resigning from the role.
Is that the suitcase that Barron Trump liked? Yeah, it was.
Perhaps. Joe Biden falling off his bike. Another classic. Joe Biden falls off his mountain bike. What else? Fentanyl crisis. That one speaks for itself. Thin air. Biden tries to shake hands with thin air. Yep, that was a classic right there. What else do we got? Oh, remember this one? The transgender influencer Rose Montoya shows off his silicone breast during a White House Pride event. I believe that this person was later arrested for some sort of deviancy, but I can't recall, so I'm not going to go there. Look it up. Send it to me. I'll put it on the show page if you got a link. Images from inside federal prison show how the Biden regime tortured J6 protesters through the use of prolonged solitary confinement. There's a view of what that looks like right there. Does not look pleasant at all. The mug shot, there you go. Now a derivative of the portrait. Biden regime moves forward with the prosecution of Donald Trump. And then we've got evil incarnate Jose Ibarra, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela who had already been arrested and released, stands trial for the brutal murder of 22-year-old Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. Rest in peace, Laken Riley. New legislation coming out about that. I believe they're calling it the Laken Riley law. Hunter faces justice. A lot of talk about Hunter in the last few years here. That's a picture of him arriving at court ahead of his tax fraud and illegal firearms charges. He would later be pardoned by his father, despite repeated promises never to do so. That's very true. Trump trial. There's Trump sitting in trial. Number 23, the debate. Oh, this was a pivotal moment here. We covered it on Boiler Room Live. In a debate that effectively ended his candidacy for president, Biden showed himself to be every bit as demented as his critics had warned. 24, bring back joy. Kamala Harris takes over as the Democratic nominee and chooses Tim Tampon Walz as her running mate with a promise of restoring joy to politics. Because that's what we all think when we see Tim Walz, right? Joy. Campaign turns out to be a catastrophic failure. And here's Ben's number 25, the greatest comeback ever. There you go. So he put this out the day before he was sworn in. I thought that was an interesting post and a nice retrospective. So that's all I got for you, Ruckus, and for all you out there on Rockfin, Rumble, YouTube, and X. I'm sorry I haven't been able to watch all those chats tonight. There's been a lot of tabs to manage and a lot of camera switching. So thanks, everybody, for your comments and for hanging out with us. If you want to support us, you can find the links in the description boxes and on our website at alternatecurrentradio.com. Check out the Daily Ruckus page over there for all things Ruckus. He's got a great series going right now. You definitely want to catch up on that if you're not caught up yet. Ruckus, that's all I got tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I will try my hardest to at least finish that series of the Daily Ruckus, but kind of in emergency survival mode, so my time is dedicated towards other things right now, and we'll go from there. But I will at least finish up that series, the 12 Days of Ruckus, hopefully before the end of January. Yeah, but yeah, if you want to help me out, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee and other links on my show page and my show notes and all that. Thanks for having me, Hesher. It's been a blast. May God bless each and every one of us, and may God save this republic. Ruckus.
All right. Thanks, Ruckus. We'll see you next time. And that's it for this episode of Boiler Room. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, you can find our show at alternatecurrentradio.com. And we'll get this audio podcast sorted and up for all you audio listeners. So it should be in your pod feeds by tomorrow morning. And that's it. We're out of here on behalf of myself, Spore, everybody here at Alternate Current Radio and in the Boiler Room. Thank you and stay positive. And we'll see you again real soon.
That's it. Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.